Hey, beautiful people. How's it going, y'all? We're going to go ahead and dive into tonight's show. We're going to go and chop it up. Don't worry, y'all. I got y'all. I'm so exhausted, guys. You see me in my onesie tonight? Yep. It's that vibe. It's that kind of Friday night. Let's get into the countdown, guys.
Staring at herself in the mirror on the restroom door. Voices in her head that mirror what she's heard before.
Right, y'all. Let's get into it. How's the week been for you guys? How's the Gemini full moon been treating you guys so far? What is the vibe, everyone? Let me get into the comments. Sorry, y'all. Okay, where are we with the list? Okay, we're getting there with the list. Okay. I'm hoping to have, I'm doing a little quickie tonight, y'all. I'm hoping to quickly get in and out tonight so I can just recuperate. So I can just chill and hang out. Not so well. Dang. Yes. So it's been interesting, right? We're sort of like learning. Darkness is observing itself during this Gemini full moon, and self-righteous light is also observing itself. So this is like an interesting sort of wave that we're going to be navigating through over the next couple of weeks. But yeah. Why'd you say not so well, Smara? What's been going on? Dang. Okay, who do we have in the house? Who is here? Because we're about to kick off the list. Mina, you are first on the list. So what are we doing, guys? Sorry, I'm sure you guys are probably like confused as well because I'm supposed to be here 9:30. That extended. And I've only just arrived. Yeah, that part. Listen, I'm telling you, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. Oh God. Do you know what? This is so interesting. So I've been feeling, oh, hey, angelic love. Nice to have you in the house. Beautiful. So we've got a few people. Mina, we're gonna have to come back to because I don't think that Mina's actually sort of like in the house just yet. So we're gonna have to come back to her question. Hey, angelic. Dang, Smara. Hit me with your question, okay? We're gonna sort of wait for Mina to get back in if she sort of gets back into the fold of the list while the list is kind of unfolding. But yeah, hit us with the question. It has been one of those types of moons. I've been observing it like play out, and I've been watching it within myself. So I've been sort of mindful of how I'm navigating that energy and where I'm choosing to project it. But it's definitely interesting. It's a little bit of a battle at the minute. It's so funny because I was like breaking down different parts of myself that was like having a conversation over the last couple of days to a friend. And it's been quite intense. What's your question, Smara? Put your question out there in the chat. Beautiful. That awesome, huh? Oh, dude. Let's see. Oh. Smara. What's coming for Smara in the romance area, guys? What's coming for Smara? Okay. Elaborate. Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. So what they're showing me in the situation in terms of this dynamic, so it's pretty interesting actually. I think I'll end up alone. Christmas coming, and I'm a little bit sad. Oh, oh. It's interesting because this little space that you're kind of like in at the minute, this little bubble, they're sort of like saying Hubble bubble. It's like a little bit of a come together, collect your thoughts, and actually, because you're very scattered, the energy is like scattered and all over the place. Sorry, I'm getting like messages on messages, and it is distracting. So let's put that on silent, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. Right? Okay. So yeah, what they're showing me on the cards with the situation as far as what's coming for you is it's all a case of internalizing feelings, just kind of going through the motions of the emotions type thing and kind of withdrawing, definitely sort of processing some abandonment wounds during this little phase that you're kind of navigating through at the minute, because it seems like there's a little bit of a complexity in terms of the way that you express yourself, right? Sometimes you get like, right? It's like a build up. It's like a build up, and then you kind of have these eruptions where you put yourself in situations where now there's so many restrictions that's been created with the situation, right? And I feel like that's one of the things that you're going to be working through, I guess, during this Gemini full moon, kind of like learning how to refine that pattern. What I'm seeing with the situation is that there's a tendency to be a little bit aggressive, kind of express some time, right? And this is the thing. This is the thing, right, Smara? I know that it's more passion, right? It's passion, kind of like seeking to be able to sort of come through and articulate and express exactly what's going on the inside of that, right? But in the way that you're kind of like in the way that you're projecting it, in the way that you're expressing it, it's coming off a little bit too aggressive. So you're kind of working at aligning that a little bit, figuring out which parts of your personalities need to be sort of dialed back a little bit. One thing that I'd say in this particular class, what they're showing me is that you have to watch the quantity of your tolerance, right, with situations. So what will happen is that you'll keep going along with situations that you're not necessarily happy with, but also at the same time you're kind of like saying yes when you really mean no, because it's building resentment, right? All of your full self, it's not like a full decision in terms of that yes, and that's putting you in situations where you're likely to show up a little bit aggressive, because now you're kind of going a little bit further and further away from the things that you actually are wanting in the space, in those situations. And sometimes, like the way that they're putting it to me, like it's all in the bartering. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily that you're going to get outright what you want per se, and being able to come back with a compromise on the table towards certain things. Sometimes you go so far off. All right, guys. Sorry, they're talking so fast. I'm like, dang. Okay, chill. Yeah, it's like sometimes when those types of situations show up, it's to be able to sort of help you to understand what are your compromisables, because some things you can sort of like figure out a good compromise on instead of giving all the way in, because some of the situations that you put yourself in, it's kind of like the risk factors are too high, right? The risk factors. Oh, you guys aren't going to be alone. Oh, you guys, chill out. Well, Christmas is just around the corner. I'll say that. It's a little bit complicated with this one, because this whole year was about how we're sort of like mastering our emotions per se, and how that's going to be sort of like manifesting. But what I'm seeing here with the situation, Smara, they're saying, you know, in this class that you're sort of navigating through, it's about learning how to be able to sort of let go of control issues. And that's not necessarily just for yourself, but really even understanding where you're okay. So the compromisables are the things that you're like, okay, I don't need that level of degree of control over the situation on my end. This is where I can meet you with the situation. Can you meet me here type thing? So I guess that's the whole aspects of the class that you're kind of like navigating through during this season. How do you see things kind of like playing out in the process of this though? Because okay. So what they're showing me with the situation, because I want to be able to sort of like get some clarity, right? You know how it is. What they're showing me with the situation, it's all about being a little bit stealthy in terms of the way that you kind of do the relationship dynamics. When I say stealthy, it's like sometimes you do things and you question why you're even doing certain things. Again, pieces of yourself is like out of alignment. Beautiful. Chill out, guys. Let me interject for a second. Pieces of yourself. Sorry, I'm getting like mad downloads. Pieces of yourself are like fragmented when you're making certain decisions, and that's again something that's kind of like delaying. Delays don't necessarily mean denial, so I don't want you guys to sort of like put it out there that you guys are going to be alone per se. If you guys are sort of like feeling that way, you want to be able to kind of like, you know, honor that feeling, put a timeline on it so that, you know, it doesn't like become like a vast aspect of your reality type thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Just so that you can sort of like cut it off. And because we're creating with our words, you guys know, obviously we're casting spells constantly in terms of the way that we're articulating the experiences that we're having. But what they're showing me is that you're learning how to be a little bit more stealthy in terms of the way that you navigate in the home dynamics when it comes to romance, right? Pieces of yourself are going to start to be able to sort of fall into alignment in terms of you being able to express your passions, the things that you're passionate about. A lot of it is coming from blocked emotions, which means that you're suppressing at times, which is causing a little bit of delayed reaction, which is why it's passive energy, which is why it's coming off aggressive when it's supposed to be passionate at times, right? So I hope you took notes on what I just said there, because honestly, this is a great opportunity with the Gemini full moon to be able to kind of like work on this little pattern a little bit, so that you can kind of like see where you are in terms of planting new seeds. Around about the Gemini season next year, you'll be able to see where you are with that transition with the situation. What they're showing me as well is that sometimes the aspect, I need space but dedication at the same time. And I hear you on that, right? I hear you on that. And that's the difficulty, which is why you kind of have to, when you're working, is because those two are basically like two completely different parallels. Dedication requires union, whereas I guess space requires distance. So this is like a very complex design to sort of like manifest and ground, right? So these types of things, when we're manifesting these types of things, these types of dualities, where the complexities, I don't want to get like nerdy with you guys in terms of universal maths and stuff, right? But honestly, like the complexities of like what it is that you're trying to manifest, they're constantly going to be sort of like at odds. So the degrees of perspective astrologically has to be precisely right to be able to like bring the right person in at the right time type situation, right? And when I say the right person, even in navigating through situations with a partner per se, they go through their own process of like evolving throughout the process as well, right? So do take that into consideration. But it's going to be an interesting class. They're showing me that you are going to be able to sort of manifest what it is that you want in terms of the romance side of things, but it's going to require being able to sort of like come into balance with control. When we're sort of like letting go of control, it's not necessarily just our own control issues, but it's also where we allow ourselves to be sort of controlled, and it takes us out of alignment with our intentions as well. So that's the class that you're going to sit. It's going to be interesting for you in terms of the romance space for the next 6 to 8 weeks whilst you're sitting the waves of this. It's going to be there's going to be some tension, girl. There's going to be some tension, and there is going to be like an overwhelming sense of feeling very scattered at times, just because there's going to be like so many pieces of yourself basically that are going to have to fall into alignment with the things that you're trying to manifest at the minute, and you're having to deal with opinionated people around you as well. And those are some of the things that I guess you're going to be navigating through some of those projections, because they're showing me it's like cutting through some of the projections and stuff as well. It's okay. It's okay. Look, it's only temporary. Okay. It's a little bit of a battlefield for around about the next 6 to 8 weeks, because there's a lot of confusing thoughts. There's conflicting thoughts basically. So it's causing like you to send mixed signals out there. And I think that this astrological alignment at the minute as well is going to sort of like help you. It's going to foster the right type of environment for you to be able to, I guess, put all of these displaced aspects of yourself into alignment, right? So it's not an oh no, it's an oh, okay. That part. We'll do that, okay? Because sometimes like I feel my humans like tension towards certain things, but at the same time, like on a soul level, I know, dang, like this is the thing that I'm gonna need to ride. Like I'm gonna need, like if I get over this wave on the other side of this, my human's gonna be more optimized to be able to navigate through certain situations, and I'm gonna be able to, you know, get onto bigger battlefields, yes, but also I'm gonna be able to sort of like build my confidence a little bit, you know, in the process of it. So it's all going to be happening with divine intent. That's kind of like when they're like that, that's where I close it out. So it's all going to be happening with divine intent. There's a lot of baggage that they're sort of like helping you to clear at the minute as well, because they're causing a little bit of setback in the way that you respond to certain things, or have the potential to respond to certain things. So utilize the time as well to kind of like check into your heart drive and check into your mind, to sort of see, you know, pull up files maybe where you're still holding on to certain things, because this Gemini full moon, again, like it's a great time to release some of the, you know, the darker side of things, like some of the traumas. It's a great time to be able to sort of like release those. I guess the angels are collecting those for us within the collective during this Gemini full moon season. So take your time, be gentle with yourself, is what I'm hearing with the situation. And also be gentle with your words. Be kind to yourself with your words, is what they're saying. Okay. Because like the times that we're living in, guys, manifesting is happening so quick. Sometimes I word vomit on certain situations, and I'm like, oh my god, shit, it's already out there. I didn't mean that. Can we cancel that? So we got to be mindful with our words and stuff at the minute. But yeah, hope that was useful for you, my love. Where are we with the list, guys? There was so much that was going on in the chat. Saw your message as well, Kaylee, about the protection spell. Oh, that's what's up, beautiful. That's what's up. That's what's up. Was it good? Did you feel the seal? Like when you sort of like set your intention to sort of like allow for the energies to kind of encapsulate your home. Oh, that's good. That's good, Samara. I'm glad. I'm happy. Glad. Okay, I forgot to actually put up your question. So let's do that with Angelic. Right, Angelic, you just dived right in there. That's what I like to see, guys. So, oh, that's what's up. That's good. I'm glad to know that, you know, everything's going great. Okay, it's a good time, especially seeing as we're sort of like moving into the next full moon that we'll have is sort of the Cancer full moon. So that's going to be setting pace as far as home environment and situations, right? At a moment with spirit and bog my eyes out. Oh, that is beautiful. Listen. Those are some of the most powerful intentions. The way that the angels go ham for us in spirit realm when we pour out like that. Oh my God. God bless you already. God bless you already. My week was interestingly chaotic. I'm like trying to, because I'm all of this I'm asking for, right? You know, when you're asking, but then things start to manifest, I guess, all at once. And then you have to get into that place of like juggling, right? And then you're trying to create new things at the same time as well. Like, listen, remember when I told you, I think it was like maybe a week or two ago, when I said to y'all that I was like battling, I dealt with like, so pride. Oh my God, guys. So I'm gonna, sorry, Angelic. Hold the floor for a second. I'm gonna like share with you guys. Literally, I won't even take up too much time, but I feel like I need to be able to sort of like share with you guys. Sorry, my mama's calling. I'm on live, Marjay. Yep. Bye. Love you. She'll be in the chat in a second. That's how that goes. But yes, so you know, when I was speaking about, so my coming into this Gemini full moon, it's been so interesting because now I see what the Gemini full moon was preparing me to be able to sort of like release, because now I can see the list is still open. The list is still open, I believe. We've got up until 10 people. I've only just done the first person on the list. And I think, how many have we got on the list so far? Yeah, the list is still open. You're good. Yeah, so at that time, we love you and all your friends and want you to be able to tell us about how you are. No, I love that, Chelly. No, I appreciate that. Because it's been like an interesting experience with this Gemini full moon. So I was navigating through pride. Pride was the thing that was, I'm still navigating through it. Can I just say, I'm like learning how to like pull back the degrees of pride, because obviously like these aspects of ourselves, we're human. We need these aspects of ourselves. It's just about figuring out how to utilize it, when, where, and how type thing, right? So my ego is activated by the spirit of pride maybe like a week, I want to say maybe like 8 to 10 days ago. And I was navigating through a sequence of all of these different things, because my 33rd is like just around the corner. Bixby, it is not the time. Your girl is sharing. Okay? Sorry. Right? And yeah, the situation when that sort of showed up, I did manifest. I could tell that I was like on a little bit of demon time. Okay, I could tell, because the way that my ego, when my ego gets rigid, I know that I'm basically experiencing a limiting belief, which is that's where the demons will attach themselves, basically, because that limits our potential to be able to live in greatness and all that good stuff, right? As I am, dang, y'all, bear with me. It is busy tonight, baby. I'm just on live. Can I call you back? Okay, love you. Bye. Yo, it is going down tonight. Sorry, do you know what? The guides told me before I came into the space, like, to let everybody know that like the space is going to be like occupied with you guys, but I guess I didn't put that out there, and here we are navigating through that. Okay, this is what happens all the time. Even when I was navigating through pride, my guides kept telling me like, you know, you're being selfish. So that was a class that I was navigating through. So this Gemini full moon season, I'm like letting go of selfishness. Okay, again, okay, because that happens a lot with my human. I have a lot of complexities. I'm an only child, as well as being a first child, as well as being a last child, from different aspects of my dynamic. So it's a lot to navigate through, and that can have like some self-ish tendencies, which is why I try to practice being self-full, right? Making sure that I'm pouring into myself just enough so that my human don't feel like it needs to be selfish about anything, you know? And also being able to sort of like pour into others in a feasible manner as well, where it's not taking too much out of myself. But coming into this Gemini full moon, y'all, like how I'm doing grateful. Like, I'm grateful for like all of this stuff that this Gemini full moon kind of like taught me about myself in coming into the space. And again, there's like a lot of things that it's going to be able to help me for. It's not even necessarily just in romance or in family dynamic friendship. It's like literally all across the board. So yeah, I'm dialing a few things in terms of what I've learned so far. And also I'm learning to dial a few of the light aspects of myself back in terms of where I place that kind of energy as well, how much of it I place into certain people or situation, and making sure that I meet it to the right capacity so that I don't overexert my energies. But yeah, that's how you girls do it. It's been an interesting class, guys. I'm telling you, it's been interesting. So I'm grateful. They do say like Gemini is a really, really great teacher, and I've learned a lot, even coming into this Gemini full moon. So I'm only like, yeah, I'm intrigued to see what I'm gonna learn actually in this Gemini full moon season. So it's gonna be lit, y'all. It's gonna be lit. Thank you for asking, Chaley. Guys. Oh, thank you, beautiful. So are you, man. Like, yeah. My soul just kind of like poured out there like all of the, so this is a little bit of a bullet point. And that was me giving you like, you know, the bullet points of it all. Can we see the space between Joanna and V, especially the Joanna's feelings? Okay, we're gonna start with this firstly, because that's what they okay, sorry. They're about to utilize me, y'all. We're about to tune in. So Joanna, I want to understand what's Joanna's feelings. Oh, okay. That's a path. Okay. 110%, Smara. Honestly, I'm just grateful to have this human who is like so willing. My human's willing, okay? Which makes it a little bit easier for my soul to be able to like do conscious work with my human, as opposed to like me having to be dragged through the motions subconsciously, and then you know, my soul's doing all the work. Like, it helps my human, it helps that my human's like willing to actually like grow as well. So that's what's up. We like Shakima. She's all right. She'll do. Okay, clarify this to me. What do you mean? Okay. I get you. But show me. What does that mean in the context of things? Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so where's V's feelings in all of this? Okay, thank you. Oh. Interesting. Clarify. Okay, thank you. Okay, angelic, it is going down, girl. Okay, so with the situation in terms of like her feelings on what they're sort of like navigating through at the minute, I think this Gemini full moon ain't been going too well for them either. Okay. What I'm seeing with the situation is that they're actually going through a little bit of a crossroads at the minute. Okay. His feelings on the situation is that he's not necessarily like even wanting to reconcile at the minute. So she just went through like a learning a massive learning situation in terms of the dynamics, because this is the thing that I'm seeing with her space and the situation. She's still holding on to feelings. She's not able to sort of like moved on, but he's kind of closed off at the minute. So she was basically she was the one that was in the wrong in terms of what transpired for them during the course of this Gemini full moon, y'all. So he's a little bit like, I'm not sure whether or not I even want to sort of like keep giving my energy to this situation. Like, it feels like it's just at a complete loss. I got feelings there. I love her, but and when I say I love her, I don't know how. I don't know how to. So love has different levels of maturity, right? When we talk about love, the level of the maturity in terms of the love is still very young. Basically, it's a young sort of like level in terms of maturity. So it being impacted by all of these like waves, I guess, these ups and down situations. She done did something. Hold on, man. I want to see what she did. I'm sorry. I'm nosy. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a blank space over there, and I want to be able to clarify that so I can get the whole spread. I feel like as I'm looking, there's a blind spot over here that I can't see. So I'm gonna dive into that. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Guys, come on, man. Sorry. Grabbing more cards. I'm grabbing more cards. Sorry, I need my other tarot deck because I wanna get some clarity on the situation. Okay. What do you mean when you say that? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, snap. Okay. Give it to me in context, though. Give it to me in context. Give me the cards. Put it to me in context. Come on. Thank you. Yo. Oh, my diddy. Okay. Hold on. Let me receive like this. Okay. So, right, this is a situation. I feel like no, do you know why I said that, Angelic? Yeah, because they were telling me, so the class that I sat, I wasn't necessarily the only one sitting the class around selfishness during this season. So she was basically like in the situation dynamic, right? They were showing me that she basically did something. So she's still hiding things. Basically, things are still coming to light. Things that they're actually trying to address at the minute. It's like more things keep coming up, keep coming out, and she's still perpetuating certain things. So even though they want to fix the situation that they've got going at the minute, like, unfortunately, they don't necessarily have the right behaviors in place just yet, right? So the actions aren't necessarily aligned. They don't necessarily know how to fall into alignment with it just yet. So she's been a little bit deceptive. Hey, shopaholic, she's been a little bit deceptive in terms of not necessarily being as forthcoming as she needs to be able to be, to allow for them to be able to navigate through like the dramas of everything that they're sort of going through at the minute. Because I think that she's kind of like done the boo-boo from what I can see on the situation. I think he's done some issues, well, don't get me wrong, right? But I think this trial that they're navigating through, this court case that they're on, right? Like this case of judgment, Saturn and all that lot, that they're kind of like navigating through, is to do with what her aspects on the situation is. So what they're showing me is that she's the conflict avoidance, like she was trying to avoid conflict, which is why she didn't necessarily share certain things. But that is exactly what the fear was. It's like, oh, I'm not going to share this because I don't want to basically for them to leave me type thing, or I don't want to leave them. Do you know what? I feel like And this is the thing. I feel like she was flirting with the idea. I feel like she was flirting with the idea. I don't know if she acted on those impulses. There was definitely like emotional exchanges. So it was like messages and stuff back and forth. So there was definitely an emotional stepping out type thing, right? But yeah, like she didn't share everything with the situation. I feel like that's why I don't know, unfortunately, right? Because like some things haven't necessarily been revealed, and again, certain things have to be like kept hidden until they must come to light, basically, because then that sets up a whole other sort of like offset of scenes to come to fruition and stuff. But like with the situation, because what I'm seeing is, do you know what? She was actually like at the crossroads where she was navigating through the previous relationship situation and this relationship. She wasn't all the way forthcoming with the way that things actually were. Like there's still things that are hidden, man. Like, and I can feel it. I can feel, because she's like hiding like certain things, because I guess she was scared of like losing him. But the very thing that she was shooketh of has manifested itself, because it was being manifested from the place of fear. So the law of repulsion is what actually, occurred. So she indirectly attracted this because she manifested it, I guess, through fear. So the law of repulsion sort of like brought this whole situation up to surface, because he was willing, I guess, he was willing to kind of like figure it out and work through it and stuff like that. But he can feel and he can sense, like, I feel like his guys as well are sort of like whispering stuff in his ears, letting him know, something ain't right in the milk. But I see that for him with the situation, in terms of like how he's handling he's kind of basically just kind of like drowning himself and burying himself in kind of like work situations. He's kind of like basically just he's not being emotionally available to her. Basically, he's not being open. Hey, Ariana. He's not being open to kind of like engage. He's kind of pretty much set boundaries with that situation, so she kind of knows where she stands. I think he's still like navigating through his feelings to kind of decide whether or not he wants to even sort of like give the situation a go. But he doesn't feel like invested enough to even go back into the space. So for now, she's on pause. She's on ice. And she over here is missconfused.com. Like, she's learning, right? She's going through a process of like figuring out like what it is that she did to be able to kind of like let the situation transpire the way that it has done. But we already had this conversation, okay? She was sitting some selfishness class. I was guilty of that this season as well. So not in that dynamic, can I just say, by the way. My selfishness was in different places. I've learned that lesson a few times. So when my test comes up, I just sit back and I'm like, I ain't gonna fall for that one this time. It's not gonna be a thing. But yeah, with the situation, I guess he's still kind of figuring out whether or not he wants to even invest in the situation. But right now he is on a nah, not really. I can't trust you. I can't really believe anything that you say, because I don't know truly what you're holding back. And we need to actually be working through these things. So yeah, that's just it. That's just it, man. But yeah, that's what's going on with the situation. That's what's going on with the situation. So how do you see this playing out during this Gemini full moon season then? What do you see happening as far as this whole situation? They gotta go. Thank y'all. Oh, okay. Okay. Because that's the most important question, right? That we want to know, like, okay, after all the tea, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? So yeah, what they're showing me with the situation, they're actually gonna get some clarity about the situation. I do think that they are going to try, I guess, they're gonna try to be able to figure it out. they're going to try again to be able to sort of like figure it out. But for right now, she's on pause. Yeah, she's on ice. It's so good, angelic. Yeah, they're gonna try and figure it out, because I think that they have an attraction and feelings are there, but I think that the ex situation is very, very complicated, because I think she started this before she was really finished with that, and I think that that's, you know, karmically you have to sort of finish up the feelings. You know what I mean? We've only had who I did a reading for someone else. Let me check the list. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. List is, oh, Linda popped in just as I was about to say hi. Linda, you okay? So yeah, with the situation, they're gonna go through a process. I think the list is pretty much sort of like wrapping up now. We'll allow room for maybe like 1, but that's it. After that, we're good to go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. 3. All good, guys. But yes, that's the space. Angelic. I hope that was useful for you, because yeah, we needed to be able to like unpack it. Okay, that part. Okay, here we are. Do you know what it is, right? I think that they are in the pattern of familiarity. So I think that that's a part of the issue. I say issue, but it's like, if they are going to like figure it out and make it work, just actually make it work and stop like fluffing about type thing. You know, actually like put your all into it and give it an actual fighting chance type thing, because what she's doing isn't necessarily helping things, and I think that that's why he's kind of like standoffish at the minute, within reason. That's kind of why he's at a little bit of a stalemate. You know, he's like, can I trust you though, man? So I guess we shall find out in due course how her class in selfishness is going. What else? Who else do we have? Oh, Mina, we've got you next on the list. I hope that was useful for you as well, Angelic, because that was good insight. It was good to sort of like see. Oh, dang. We're going through it, y'all. It's going to be an interesting season, sort of like closing out. Okay, thank you. We've got Mina's questions. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you, beautiful. Okay, so let's dive into it. Right, we want to find out what are Asan's current thoughts. We'll go with the thoughts dynamic firstly, and then we'll unpack and see what, you know, what else is going on beneath the surface. Right? What are Asan's thoughts towards Mina at the minute? Thank you, guys. Okay, interesting. How so? Clarify. Oh. That part, Shaylee, you know, that part. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Oh, sorry. Oh, my bestie Charlotte tells me all the time that I'm so animated, right? And I think that's why I love my little human, man. She keeps us fun. She's fun. I'm like 4'9" as well, guys. So I'm like proper like a little cartoon character. All right then, guys. So that's good to know. What are the feelings? What are his feelings towards Mina then? Let's have a look. See. Oh, you guys know how it is. I am so animated. I love it. It's It's one of my best qualities that I like, actually. It's one of the things that I'm like, oh, I always sometimes when I'm having my down moments, I'm like, oh, Shakima, you cheer me up. Because I literally like I allow all aspects of myself individually to kind of like embrace the wholeness of myself. I hope that makes sense. So a lot of the times, like, you know, my consciousness feels separate to my actual like human self, and they go through their own battles type thing. But it's always just so nice to be able to kind of like come into a place of appreciation for both. Do you know what I mean? Both aspects of self. Show me, what are Asan's feelings towards me now? Oh, interesting. We've got a jumper. Okay, thank you. Yeah, do you know what? It's so funny, right? I think that's why I chose the lineage that I chose, because my great grandmother allowed for this genetic predisposition because she was already like activated and stuff. But I remember when I was a lot younger and I had to like navigate. I remember one of the first times, right, that I heard spirits. I was like, who is that? Where's that coming from? But at the same time, I told y'all I'm that cat, you know, that I'll lose all 9 of my lives to curiosity, right? And it's like, even though it's like, who is that? It's like, what do you want? You know, like that's literally how spirits actually started to come and talk to me, because like they come and they're like tell me their little stuff, and I'll be like, oh dang. And then I'll message this person. I'm like, oh, this spirit said this and this, and they're like, oh, you know, I was literally just having the station like 20 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, the spirit was there, man. They need to let you know you're not, you know. I guess it's just, I love the tea. I want to know what's the tea, guys. So they come and they tell me, and then I'll pass on the messages. That's how it goes. That's how it works. But I actually like it. To be fair. They're fun. It makes life so much more interesting, actually. Oh, that is so sweet. So, Mina, so this is what we've got for you, beautiful. So, with the situation, right? His thoughts on the situation is that like you're kind of a free spirit, right? And he's like discovering and learning a lot about your free spirit nature. It's one of the things that he loves about you. However, it's one of the things that he's kind of like navigating through at the minute. No, trust me, guys, I crap myself up. Like seriously. I was literally like, I was having sorry, sidebar, guys. I was having it out with my dad. My dad's in spirit, right? And I was having it out with my dad because like I overspent on my sister's Christmas gift, right? Her birthday is like Boxing Day, so like obviously she gets, you know, a loaded Christmas type situation. And I was there, you know, I went and I got a gift and I had like a whole sort of like, you know, thought in mind and everything, right? And then the universe aligned to the point where I overspent. But I also understand, like, my sister's very spoiled. We overcompensated because my dad passed when she was like 5 months old. So we did overcompensate. We're aware that we overcompensated, and we do understand that it does cause, you know, some it rattles some demons, some selfishness is in there, some, you know, things that she's going to have to learn along the way. And we're providing her with the tools to be able to navigate through those things in her adult life, right? Because we genuinely wanted to be able to love her to that degree and capacity so that she wouldn't have to like feel tremendously the absence of his physical presence, right? But I was like literally having it out with my dad, and I was like, look, I was like, no, I wouldn't mind like if it was like my brother and stuff, because like he's more, you know, aware, like he's a little bit less selfish, a little bit less. Do you know what? My dad was like, look, it's fine, I'll bring you back the money. And literally within the same day, he brought me back a little bit of change. Okay, so I found something else, and a whole situation kind of transpired. But yeah, sometimes I literally sit down and I have it out with my guides. I have it out with spirit. We have proper conversations. I have conversations with them like we are really literally here. Like sometimes I'll be watching something, I'm like, I know that their presence, they're always there, they're always watching, right? It's just they live life vicariously through us after physical like life has ended, right? So I'll be there watching something, I'm laughing, I'm like, guys, that was so funny, and I can feel their presence as well. We're all, listen, it's a whole orchestra, we're all laughing all at once. But yeah, that part. That's really my life. Anywho, Mina, now that the sidebar's over, Asan, like I was so animated because despite like what seems like you guys are kind of like navigating through like this physical, the absence of physical presence, like it's almost like he gets it. Do you know what I mean? Like he gets it, or at least he's like learning how to figure it out, right? He's learning how to figure it out. And it's like the way that he's thinking about you in the situation is that he knows that you're a free spirit. It's one of the things he loves about you, but he's learning how to navigate through that aspect of your personality and how actually to be able to respect it, right? Even though it's something that he loves about you, he's like learning how to respect it. And I think that this is what is good about this situation, because I feel like the universe is like allowing for you guys to be able to like build a healthy foundation, right? Even though it may seem less than ideal in terms of the ordinary dynamics, right? One would think in terms of being healthy, it's like one's constantly in communication, all that. No, sometimes boundaries are necessary, and that's the way to be able to practice like being able to kind of like be healthier. You know, sometimes like God's like, we're two sick people, and he's like, I'm going to need to like deal with you in one theater, and I'm going to need to deal with you in a separate theater before I can bring you guys back maybe into the same hospital room on the same hospital ward where you guys can commune again until you guys can actually like leave the hospital. Feel what I'm saying? Know what I mean? But yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because when I like unpacks what those feelings are all about in terms of the situation, like he's so open to like giving the relationship a chance, right? And there's still a little bit of codependency there, and when I say codependency, it's kind of like learning how to do so in a healthy way. It's kind of like I know that you're there, but I don't have to be physically there to know your presence is there, and that is I can be content enough in that type thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, Ash. So in terms of the feelings on the situation, the feelings on the situation is that he's like genuinely like he's hoping for like new beginnings on the situation. Like that's literally just a place that he's in. He's like fingers and toes crossed, like got strands of hairs crossed, like he's got everything crossed that there's going to be new beginnings in the situation. He's holding faith to that. And it's almost like it's weird because as much as you guys aren't necessarily like completely in communication and stuff, there's genuinely a contentment in knowing that it's happening anyways. Do you see what I'm saying? It's one of those types of things. Oh, Ash. Oh. Oh, do you know what? You get on the list for that one. I said when we were like just about to close out the list, I said there may be space in the space. There might be space for one extra. The extra one did sort of get added onto there, but I don't know what I'm saying sometimes when I'm speaking in terms of how the universe may play things out. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you do want to be added to the list, you will be list. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, okay. So yes, Mina, with the situation, right? Charlie's too funny. Listen, right? So his feelings on the situation, Mina. Oh, it's all good. It's all good, beautiful. The guys already anticipated, I guess. They already anticipated the need, I guess, for you to be able to be here and get in, right? So it's all good. Divine timing. God's good. So in terms of the feelings on the situation, now let's talk about the feelings, right? The feelings, it's like an emotional sense of security, and it's so weird. It is so weird, Mina. Like there's like this feeling of just being completely open to like doing things differently, and just allowing for things to manifest like in a new way in terms of the romantic aspect of things, you know. Looking at the situation, it's like he reads what some would perceive as being like cold, right? He's reading it in the right way, because I guess he's seeking to understand you, which is good, because when people read you in the wrong way, sometimes obviously they project their own sort of like opinions on the situation, and a lot of the times it's coming from places inside of themselves where they're kind of distorting the imagery of you type thing. But he seems to be able to see you clearly, even in thought, which is tricky sometimes, because our mind can be very, very deceptive. Okay. So that's nice. Like he understands, I guess, the authenticity of you. That's the best way that I can put it, because that's the way that they're giving it to me, right? What they're showing me with the situation in terms of his feelings, oh my god, okay, right? Like that's how he feels. He feels like you're his girl. It might not look that way on the actual like surface of the situation, but he knows that things are kind of like playing out when it comes to you know, just kind of being able to give space to the situation, right? Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. Okay. What's the advice for Mina in navigating through things then? Okay. Oh, okay. Like they're saying, observe the small signs that there's changes taking place. Take heed of those small signs, because that's an indication that your romantic endeavors and experiences in general is going through a turning point. It is a shift in your experience of your lifetime's experiences of love. So interestingly enough, not necessarily yes, I would say being stealthy, yes. Being stealthy, yes, because obviously, right, these are some of the things that gives him an opportunity to kind of like learn about you as well. This is the stuff that gives him an opportunity to be able to kind of like understand a little bit more about like how you move, how and why you say certain things, you know, and so that he can actually like really get an understanding, I guess, of you, so that he's not like misinterpreting, you know, something that's meant for good, because it may have a negative connotation, because he understands your intention behind certain things. That's what allows for him to be able to like really respond accordingly, instead of reacting to the fact that it may be contradictory to like what he feels like his intentions are. Do you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you guys actually have the same intentions. You guys just have maybe different ways of being able to manifest that which you intend to sire, for lack of a better way of putting it. But yeah, the advice for you is to be able to just like look for the small signs, look out for the small signs that the universe is using to validate that, look, there is a shift in the experience that's happening. And it's happening slowly but surely. The right sort of circumstances are being set for you guys, and the right atmosphere is kind of like allowing for indecision to be able to mature, right? So as indecision matures, that means that one becomes more decisive, right? So all of these factors to the situations really overall just kind of like allowing for you guys to be able, sorry, it's like tintillating my third eye. I'm getting the projections titillating my third eye. I told you guys I narrate my entire sort of situations. But yeah, just remain positive with the situation. Everything's kind of playing out. Perfect timing, right? This no situation, it's temporary. There is going to be a peaceful resolution with the situation, where things feel a little bit more like, okay, one respects my ability to be able to be assertive. Now I can bend, now I can bend in ways and become open as well. Because it kind of like sets the tone for the dynamic of how the dance is going to go, type thing. But yeah. Okay, interesting. I hope that was useful for you, beautiful. Oh, that was interesting, guys. Okay, that's what's up. We love that. We love growth. Love. Okay. All right. Who have we got next on the list, guys? Who have we got next? All good, beautiful. All good. Whenever I come in here, it's always like a good it's like super training for me as well. Like I want to put that across to you guys as well, right? Because my human, as much as like this is like a natural hidden, I guess, talent, if you will. My human navigates through like self-confidence issues. I get mad anxiety because those are some of the demons my mama had contracts with before I came here. So it's a genetic predisposition as well. But like whenever I come into this space as well, like it's definitely like training for myself as well to be able to just be like comfortable in my skin. Do you know what I mean? I speak to you guys about it all the time whenever I come into the space. And when I say thank you guys for like really allowing me to be myself, I genuinely mean it. But yeah. Oh, are we having one of those nights tonight? Okay, interesting. Okay, you go in timeout, seeing as you don't know how to behave yourself, and you go in timeout. Okay, we're gonna put you in timeout. Okay, that's okay. If you guys come back with the antics, I mean, I don't mind y'all watching. Okay, it's fine. You guys can sit in and watch if you want to sit down and troll, but because you guys clearly don't have much better to do. Okay, there you go. There you go. How did you escape your cage, George? That one was funny. I can't lie. Oh, that was funny. Why is it that like a lot of these bots are just like moving with the force of the racist spirit? It's so interesting. I'm not necessarily offended, to be fair. Like my quote unquote blackness isn't necessarily something that I guess that was one of the first spells that God lifted from me, basically. I will get you. Okay, dang. Sorry, guys. We've got some trolls. They're like, okay, I'm going to start blocking because it's getting too hectic. I can't be asked, guys. Don't worry. The whole, listen, block user. Let's see. Oh, dude. Okay, what have we got? Sorry, guys. I'm like going through the list. And okay. Diagnosis eats. Okay, but you're still here. That part. Right. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm doing a cleanup. Right. Okay. Let's see where we are. What you gonna get me? Huh? Is it cute? Will I like it? Oh God. Come on, guys, man. Seriously. I honestly... They do have it in for me. It's okay. They come over here every so often. Okay, there we are. There we are. No. Oh God, chill out, guys. You keep missing the C in my name, BTW. Okay, every letter is crucial. These guys are really looking for someone to play with. Yeah, you'll have to catch us next time, V. Sorry. It's unfortunate. We're dealing with a whole troll situation as well at the minute, so there's a lot going on. Oh, God. Right. Anywho. Shaylee, let's have your question, beautiful, because they won't stop the shine. Okay? It just is what it is. They won't stop the shine. I know, but I'm on StreamYard, right? And I don't think I can do it through StreamYard. I actually would probably have to be on YouTube. Okay, let me take that off. Oh. Yeah. They are in need of it. Yep. Yeah. It's okay. It doesn't offend me. Actually, it tickles me. It tickles me, actually, to see how people do kind of, I guess, get their kicks. I guess I've got nothing else to do this Friday night, but hey, Chaley, what have we got? Okay, let's go to the cards and see. Let's go to the cards and see. We're going to do a general for Chaley. Oh, yes. Okay, come on. General read for Chaley, guys. What does Chaley need to sort of know at the minute? Share with us. What do you guys know behind the gossip scenes that, you know, she could use that insight? Oh, good. So good. That's so good. Okay. Chaley, what does she need to know at this point? Okay. Oh, short and sweet, is it? Okay. Can you elaborate on this for me? Because you guys kept it short. Your body. They're feeling cheeky, guys. They're feeling cheeky. Telling me when they give me lots, I'm like, oh, that's too much. And now when they're keeping it short and sweet. I'm like, elaborate. No funny. No funny. See, they're cheeky. This is why. This is why we have it out. Clarify. Give me put it into context for me. Okay. Thank you. Right. Okay. 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 Okay, so what they're showing me with the situation, like the only thing that you need to sort of like really know at the minute, they know my chicken is good. Oh, do you know what? What they're saying at the minute, right? And it's funny because they were talking about strength. Like that's honestly, literally, that was it. They were speaking on that context. But they were talking about like you're kind of like learning and building. Well, oh, okay. Sorry. Bear with me, guys. I'm like putting the words into order. Yeah, so they're saying that you're kind of you're learning about just how much strength you have first and foremost, and you're also building on that at the minute in terms of the imbalance in your work and family life dynamic. Because I think that one of the things that they're sort of like, oh, and this is so it's so sorry, they're being super. Okay, so I'm just going to deliver the message because this is what they're saying to me. Just deliver the message, right? So with the situation, right, because your soul has evolved like so much throughout the lifetimes, right? Like it's developed this element of patience and I know that so that's where your strength is coming from. It's actually a strength of your soul that your human is perceiving. Well, it's showing up as a little bit of a weakness for your human because obviously your human's still learning. You know how it is as humans, instant gratification. It's one of those things, especially in society, because we've been, programmed to be able to receive things. Everything's microwaved, basically, at this point, So your human's kind of like navigating through your humans navigating through your real sense of patience, your real dedication to patience, because you understand what it is that you've planted, you understand the seeds that you've planted, and you're not necessarily being indecisive about those seeds, and that's what the patience is about. It's kind of like allowing for you to be able to discover how those seeds can potentially grow and how those visions can actually come to light, even in greater terms than you even expected, in such an unlikely way is what they're saying to me. But they're saying that you're kind of like learning how to basically like nurture your human through the levels of your soul's ability to practice patience. Because your soul's been a monk in one of the past lives, they're saying to me, and that was one of the lives where you were able to optimize this ability of patience, right? And because of that surety, because of that, it's so funny because like it's interesting. They're showing me like that lifetime is basically where you were able to interesting. Okay, so no, so they're showing me like the patience that you're navigating through. So why in that lifetime you had the right human, so you had the right avatar, you had the right environment, you had the right settings to be able to optimize your patients in that particular reality, on that timeline, in that lifetime, right? How that's correlating with this lifetime is that where you've optimized patients in that life. So your patients in that previous life cost you a sacrifice. It costs you a sacrifice of a loved one, basically, is what they're showing me. And when I say the sacrifice of a loved one, it's like you were so patient in terms of the way that things would have played out with that loved one, whereby the connection just kind of like got severed. Like they basically, like, there was an accident that happened and they transitioned, basically they transitioned and ascended into the spirit realm. And because that patient's situation came with that cost, even though you optimized it in that life, in this life, how it's interconnected, it's kind of like your human is now dealing with and it's processing the consequences of said patients, because your capacity for patience is quite large. It's quite large. You've gone through a few lifetimes to be able to optimize that growth development route. But yeah, there's like a little I guess a karmic unfolding, I guess, that's kind of like playing out with that, essentially, whereby now, even though you have this big capacity for patience, you're human, it's not necessarily the right environment. It's not necessarily the perfect or idealistic scenarios to allow for that patience to be able to be appreciated in this timeline, in this experience. That patience feels resistant to the desire to be able to manifest like the intended outcome. And I think the thing that's kind of like driving this dynamic or this particular situation is like this need and desire to be able to sort of like settle down and have the family situation all the way put together. But this is funny. They're about to be cheeky now. So they're saying, yes, that's ultimately like, that's a part of what you want as well, but you're such a free spirit that may not necessarily be what you're ready for right now. That's why they like, that may not be what you're ready for right now. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, it's a no, because that's not the situation. It's that, like, you actually also, because, you know, those types of dynamics and coming into union requires certain sacrifices in terms of compromises as well, right? You're also kind of like allowing for your free spirit nature to express and exert as much of itself as possible before having to be within the confinements of having to, I guess, cater to someone else's feelings in that way, right? Yeah. It's interesting. They're showing me as well, like, with this level of strength that you have in terms of the situation, you know, certain times there's certain things that's going to attach itself to your ego. And the ego is simply just perspective. It's like the center focus of the hard drive, basically. Wherever the ego focuses, that's basically what we kind of like become, essentially, right? The ego is neither good nor bad. It's just a part of the human design, basically. And there's many layers to the ego. But the situation, yeah. See, this is what they're sort of like saying with the dynamic, right? Your human wants to be able to, and this is the thing, this is the karmic unfolding. This is the good thing about this, right? As once you like crack this as well, you get to go back into like a better environment to be able to like practice your patience, seeing as you've optimized it so well. In terms of like the next life, let me just put that out there on a sidebar, because they did just put that across, like this situation, this experience, this lifetime will set you up basically for the next lifetime, where you can actually like be able to like practice patience in the right type of environment. However, in this situation, you're being met with resistances to be able to that part of yourself in that previous life, the monk life, basically died with certain regrets, basically. And you're kind of like playing out some of those sequences of regrets now, by also being able to act upon the things that you want as well, type thing. And that's some of the challenges that you're kind of like navigating through with the situation. But remember that your patience is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's just a case of figuring out how to be able to navigate through some of the pressures. Because I'll tell you this, Chelly, my soul has like some of that same sort of like situation. I literally, this is what happened the other day with my ego, with the whole pride. This is why the pride force kind of like attached itself to my ego, to show me a little bit more about my human state. It's one of those things where, yeah, they said I have to start using my ego more. Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to, how can I put it? You kind of have to be able to, even though you know that your soul's obviously patient, your human is still having to go through the situation like this. Listen, my human breaks it down to me all the time, like in terms of my human, because sometimes my soul will tell my human like certain future plans that we have and stuff, and then my human's like such like, she's in awe. She's like, oh my god, I hope that I do that like exactly how you just said that. That sounds dope. I love the way that you just put that across. And then my soul has to be like, girl, you are me. We are we. Okay. Sidebar. But then outside of that aspect as well, my human self can sometimes be, my human self can sometimes be a little bit like, look, my human self had a conversation, I guess, with my soul to be able to say, look, I know that you're okay with being patient and stuff like that, but you have to understand, I deal with societal pressures, and this is some of the things that causes conflicts as well, right? I deal with societal pressures. You don't understand what it's like, where I'm dealing with all of these societal projections, where I'm navigating through certain situations. I'm a woman, I'm of a certain age, I'm this, I'm that, like all of these things, all of these societal pressures that are coming in, right? And this is how my human had to break it down. Yes, soul, I get that you are, you are passionate about what you're here to do in this lifetime. And I thank you for choosing me to be able to live it through. However, I need you to help me out with like some of these projections that I'm navigating through. So I think, and this is the thing with the ego as well, the ego, right? Consciously observed, it's a whole process. That's why I say the ego it's neither good nor bad. It's just a part of the human's hard drive. It's actually the most instrumental part of the human's hard drive, because it does a lot of the work. It does the projecting, it does the cleaning up, it does the filing. Like it is basically the entire management of the human system, right? So in terms of utilizing your ego with the situation, it's a case of articulating, I guess, your human self, because the ego is a representative between the higher self and the human self as well, right? And that's why we have like the super ego, and then we have like the id. Okay, it's one of those things with a situation, which is how the human identifies itself, basically, and the human identifies itself based on the way that it actually has its experiences. And there's a lot of projections, which basically pretty much shapes the human's perspective of itself, right? Creating lots of layers for people to work through. So in terms of like navigating with your ego, definitely there's some things that needs to be cleared up in the hard drive, in terms of some of the thoughts that are inclined to give you this sense of like heavy feeling. Again, a lot of these are societal pressures, right? 100% societal pressures. So you kind of have to, I guess, peel back some of the layers of these projections, because they've kind of not necessarily blinded the third eye, but it's causing a distortion of the third eye for your human. So as well, your human is being impacted by all of these projections that it's having to navigate through. Again, like I said, some of these projections may be age being a factor, dynamic of where you are in life versus where you want to be, all of these types of things, right? So yeah, definitely being I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And you don't have to necessarily care about society. It's honestly the way that the human is designed. It's like coming in and saying, I want to have a family. Why don't I necessarily sort of like have that situation put together just yet? And the reality is, it's manifesting in alignment with your actual core belief system. So it's actually showing up how you actually sort of like feel at the core of yourself in terms of how it's manifesting. But there are certain societal pressures, if you will, that would even bring that thought. That thought is actually coming from the collective hard drive. Do you understand what I mean when I say societal pressures? So that's how certain things can manifest itself, and we're not necessarily aware of how they play a part in creating a default systematic thought process subconsciously. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But yeah, they're saying that your patience isn't necessarily a weakness. I know that that's precisely the situation. That's precisely the situation. That's why I'm kind of like putting it across to you to say that even in having these types of dynamics and conversations, a lot of these things, what I'd say to you, beautiful, there's something as well that your soul in particular is wanting, which is why it's being patient, right? Clarifying the situation with the, how can I put it? I'm like trying to find words because my thoughts are getting like entangled now in trying to sort of like look at what the situation is on screen as well, right? Yeah, your patience isn't necessarily a weakness. It's just that at the minute, because your patience has been practiced for so long, and your humans susceptibility to that, your humans tolerance is getting lesser. Thank you. I'm finding the vocab. Thank you. Your human's tolerance for patience is lessening, right? And as that's lessening, it's kind of like causing this conflicts and this kind of like battling of a process, if you will, because ultimately your soul is seeking to take you to the destination that you're actually sort of like going to, and your human is having to go through the journey of that destination. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're kind of like going through the process of identifying both of their strengths and weaknesses. And this is a good moon to be able to do that as well with the Gemini full moon, right? With the situation, as you're kind of like closing this out, because this is what's happening. Like it's a closing of a karmic chapter as well. So that's something to take into consideration. It's a closing of a karmic chapter. What was once a strength became a weakness moving forward into this life, and it's now being optimized again back to a strength. Does that make sense? I hope that I'm making sense to you guys, because I'm talking like universal maths and like stuff here. So I hope that I'm making sense. But yes, this situation is going to basically set you on a recourse at the same time as well. But it's also a case of really understanding where your strengths are, what strengths may be sort of like wavering at the minute, and what you need to do to basically help those those aspects of yourself get back to a place where you do have the right levels of tolerance. Whew. Damn. There is so much in that channel. Oh my God. I'm so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Oh God, because it was so much on my heart. They were like giving me so much. There was so much in that channel, and I was just hoping that I was like able to make it make sense for you. But like, listen, it sounds like it's like a massive breakthrough in terms of like, everything that's kind of happening at the minute. But I think as you're kind of like going through the process right now, this is like a turning point situation that's occurring. Like your strengths are going to be re-optimized again. So that's good. I did that. That's when I told you that I basically activated. I got activated on the spirit of pride. So I did that. I did it a week ago. I challenged the universe because I wanted things a certain type of way, and the universe was like, no, for the betterment of your soul's growth, this is how the situation needs to play out, whatever. And I still challenged it, and the universe won, safe to say. Anywho, I hope that was useful for you, beautiful. I hope that was useful for you, genuinely. I get it, because I am at a certain place as well. But honestly, it's like literally sometimes I look back there, right, and it feels like my soul is just doing this, like just chilling, and I'm like, oh my God, wake up! I have things to do. Like, what are you doing just chilling back there? So I get you on like the tolerance with patience. It's a Pisces thing. Well, I guess it's a human thing in general, because we love to sort of like go through setting the pace of our own tests in life. But yeah, yeah. Good luck with it, though, beautiful. I'm sure. Listen, keep us posted. Keep us posted and let us know how it actually sort of like pans out. And I just want him. I just want anything but that constant pain. And I get you on that 100%. It's such a challenge with the situation, and to stop being so alone. I just want someone to tell me they love me. And this is the thing, like with him, I'm like trying to find the right words to be able to sort of like put it to you like gently, but his love is very distorted, my love. Like, his love is very distorted, it's very abstract, it's not necessarily aligned in terms of your value system when it comes to love. And that's a lot of the times what you guys actually struggle with. So in going through the dynamic with him, it has allowed for you to be able to sort of like build your patience and build, I guess, your strength in that area. But at the same time, I think I can't handle it anymore. I don't want to. And I hear you on that. 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 I'm sorry. I know I'm saying that I hear you on that a million times, because I really do hear you on that. Like, literally, I'm telling you, it was only maybe just the day before the Gemini full moon that I came down off pride. And after like pushing back to the universe and telling the universe that I don't want its story for my life, I'm just figuring out how I can actually like align myself more with how the universe is basically conspiring to help me manifest the things that I'm actually trying to manifest into my life. Because so he's just gone forever, and I just need to deal with it, probably then tell them to take my heart stop hurt. Oh, to make my heart stop hurting. Do you know what? What's you guys' advice? Sorry guys, I'm just gonna like put this out there because okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they said to stay optimistic on the situation. Reconciliation isn't necessarily on the cards externally right now, because it's not supposed to be. There's still a lot of work. I'm gonna say this, like, I don't think that he is I'm trying to like be nice about it. He's not deserving. He's not deserving just yet. And as it stands at the minute, the universe is kind of working on him. There's a lot of things that you ideally would like in a partner, and he's not necessarily optimized to be able to sort of like fulfill some of those things just yet. There will be opportunities to be able to have like heart-to-heart conversations. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I do see that more so in a months from now situation, like a good 7 months or so, where the universe is kind of like conspiring, I guess, to be able to have like just some random conversation be able to come up. But it's a waiting game type situation when it comes to this one. Okay. And you're building awareness of how strong you are. Okay. And when I say strong, it doesn't necessarily mean tough, because tough and strong are two completely different things. When I say strong, I mean you have endurance. Okay. You have the ability to endure what is necessary to manifest what it is that you intend to sire into your life. Okay. But I hope that was useful for you, beautiful. Dang. Right, guys. Who we got next on the list? KT. Hey, KT. What have we got? Hit me. Dang, y'all. That channel was so much like universal laws that drive me out. I need to... Sorry, y'all. I need to get going. That one was yeah, a bit of a big wave. And they unpacked some files there, but that was interesting. Yeah. I'm sick of proving myself. No, you're not proving yourself for nothing. You're not proving yourself for nothing. This is what I said to you. You're not proving yourself for nothing. Honestly, like the rewards of what it is that you're doing, it may not necessarily be the time for Saturn to be able to, deliver on those blessings right now per se, but it doesn't mean that you know better than anyone, being someone who sort of like, follows the stars. Certain things are just like, certain things are aligned certain way. The stars align whereby the energies allow for certain sort of situations to be set up. It kind of like fosters certain environments within different astrological transits as well. There's certain spirits that are released. There's certain demons that we have to navigate through to be able to kind of like level up and stuff. You know how it is. So at the minute, you're still kind of like, now, even though, yes, you've done a lot of work, it doesn't take away from any of the work that you've done. We're always seeking to be able to obviously continue to grow, right? That's kind of like why we continue to be here. Otherwise, we get to become like ascended masters and then we just train others, right? Which would be nice. I'm trying to get that job because I can't be asked to come here again and do this stuff all over again, okay? That's what I'm trying to do as much as I can as Shakim wants to optimize to see if I can get that job, I guess, when I transition over. But because I'm going to have kids, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to come back, because karmically, when you have kids, you kind of have to play out the karma that unfolds, I guess, with those types of situations. So, yeah, don't worry. It's not for nothing, beautiful. It's just for the right timing of a situation, right? It's just for the right timing of a situation. That's all. Okay. Whew. Right, guys. Katie, my last question. Throw your question out there. You are next on the list. Thank you for the list as well. Appreciate you, beautiful. I know it's like ridiculous o'clock. All good, beautiful. All good. Thank you, man. Thank you. And you're awesome. That's all it is. You're like, honestly, I've literally had like conversations, and I've said to my guys that, look, next time, even though I know that my soul has like optimized to a certain degree, like next time I want a whole dumb experience. Like I just want to be dumb. I can't be asked. I hear you, beautiful. I hear you, and you are well within your rights to be. You're well within your rights to be tired. It's absolutely, okay for your human to feel as though I've endured quite enough, 100%. 100%. I just have to give you the message. You know how it is, man. Shit. I literally had the same conversation with my team the other day. And when I say the other day, I mean probably like a good, I want to say like last week at some point, because while I was like juggling and navigating through these things, I felt things being activated. I focused, I dealt with it head on. You'll get over onto the other side of it. Because the reality is, even though you're tired, you know, life is going to kind of like continue to play out. So you're going to continue to like build your endurance regardless and show yourself actually just how strong you are, even though you're tired, even in your most tired moments. It's so funny how that works, right? Come on, Katie. What's your question? I'm sending you some energy, beautiful. Honestly, I really am, because I know what that's like. Listen, like my partner and I, we've been together for like 12 years. We go through the motions of our ups and downs. I don't like the term twin flame, because I find that like it feels a little bit like you know, an excuse for people to be in like toxic dynamics. So I'm going to use the term that they've given me, which is the Adam sign. So like in dealing with like your Adam sign, sometimes it can be those types of situations, right? It can be those types of situations. So even though it's been like 12 years, I've had conversations with my guides about where I thought that things should be or where I'd like for it to be and all of these things, and my guides like revealed to me the other part of myself that is also in contrary to that intention or that desire. And then I'm like, okay, that I'm still basically figuring out that part of myself as well. Okay. And then I learned to appreciate the universe for giving me an opportunity to be able to do that, so I don't force myself into a situation that I'm not actually prepared for. You know what I mean? But yeah. KT, what is your question, my love? And if you do not have a question, can we get a question from Summer? Yeah. Because I don't know if you're wanting to post your question out. We've asked a couple. Maybe you're typing it up. Are you a slow typer? You know, getting it in. Let's see. Regarding oh, I think I saw this at the start of the actual so do you know what? It's so funny that your question came after Chaley, because when I saw this at the start of the actual thing, I was like, wow, guys, are we going to be doing that level of interdimensional traveling today? We're going into like past life files. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting that Chaley's, I guess, reading came before your situation to open the doors for those files. Thank you, beautiful. Let's go ahead and have a look and see. Thank you for your question as well, Summer. I am going to definitely come back into the space and unpack that for you. But Katie was like retyping their question, I guess. So I'm going to dive into it and see what we got. Okay. Firstly, we really want to be able to. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Show me. Regarding M. Okay. I thought so. I thought so. Okay, because that's what you guys were showing me in the cards before. Okay. And how did it play out? Okay. Thank you, guys. Oh. Shocker. Okay. No, and I hear you, beautiful. You do love yourself. Do you know what? I learned that I'm still learning how to love certain pieces of myself, regardless of how much I love myself. And like, you hear me come on here and I praise little Shakima, human version and soul version, right? But honestly, sometimes like there's certain things that are said, and I'm like, dang, that was harsh. That was harsh to myself, type thing. You know, it's okay. We continue to grow and learn, beautiful man. It's all good. It's all good. You do love yourself. It's just maybe the universe is like, let's focus on this class of the self-love and this class of the self-love. And it gets so irritating, to be honest. Like I recently I asked, okay, next time, can I just be something like a cat or something? I was like, oh, next time, because at least if I'm like one with nature or whatever, it'll be easier for me to kind of like go with the flow. But I'm sure that cats have their own, because yeah, everybody has their own challenges, man. Okay, so clarify this for me. Give me some more insight. Okay, thank you. Let me unpack it. And you're good to love yourself as well, beautiful. I love you too. Okay? You got some extra love as well. Clarify for me. In what context? Put it into perspective. Ooh, okay. Our thoughts. Okay. And then as far as this. Oh, dang. Okay. Oh, thank you, beautiful. I receive it. Just had to settle into all that love. I receive it, beautiful. Thank you so much for sending it over. Quicker than an Amazon Prime delivery, right? Okay, so what I can see with the situation, right? So you guys, in the end, it turned out that you guys didn't end up together, like fully together per se. What I'm seeing with the situation is that even in that situation, there was like temptation, wandering eyes, basically kind of like broken promises, commitment issues. So that was one of the things that was like causing a lot of indecision in that dynamic. It was like saying one thing but not actually like being committed in the situation, so that the actions can actually like align with the words. What I'm seeing with the situation as well, it's like there was so many lies, I guess. There were so many lies. There were so many lies and deception when that situation kind of like happened, like that timeline happened for you guys. There was children involved as well. So, oh, dude. Okay, clarify this. Yeah, thank you. Would Kay have been the constant or the inconstant in the situation in terms of the romantic dynamic that you're showing me? Show me. So I can, okay, thank you. Oh, wow, okay. It's the whole story. Okay. Dang, y'all, I ain't gonna have space for this. Okay. Sorry, y'all, I'm like making room. Okay, I'm making room. Like it was a whole competition situation that you guys were navigating through. I want to understand basically if you were the wife or the third party in the situation. Because there were kids involved in the dynamic as well. From what I can see, that you guys didn't like fully end up together, where it was like a full-on committed situation, actually. But you had their heart. You had their heart. Hold on, I'm like having to move stuff around to like get the cards to fit, man. There's so much going on. Okay. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So in the dynamic, from what I can see, it was like they were actually in a committed situation, I guess, when you guys met on that timeline. And the chemistry was actually sparked like fairly instantaneously. There's a lot of things about you guys in that timeline that astrologically drew a natural attraction. I think at the time where you came in, he had actually updated his programming, so standards and everything like that had actually updated. And by the time you came into the situation, the wife was actually supposed to be phasing out, but it's almost like codependency wouldn't necessarily let her actually phase out. And you guys went through this whole situation, like this whole dragged out situation for a good couple of decades. For a good couple of days, and I want to say for like a good 26 years. You guys went through the motions of this situation where he was married. I guess the wife at eventually kind of like found out about the dynamics with you, and it didn't necessarily stop anything per se. It would pause things from time to time, but it didn't stop anything per se, if you know what I mean. And you also, so the wife had 2 kids. No, the wife had 3. Oh, sorry, I got it wrong. Ow. That just electrocuted me. Ow. The wife had 3 kids. Okay. And you had 2 kids. By the time everything actually like played out and unfolded, and they ended up dying in the end. They ended up dying. I guess like all of the negativity that they were creating karmically sort of like caught up to them, type thing. They died, I guess, before their time, if you will. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth over the couple of decades where you guys were kind of like going back and forth with each other. You and the wife would actually get into situations with each other quite a bit. The kids had a very complicated relationship themselves as well. It's like they had a love for each other because they were siblings, but as they grew up, it's almost like they were aware that they had to pick sides, type thing. So they became collateral damage to the situation. I think after he passed, things just got more toxic as well. Yeah, after he passed, things got more toxic as well. In terms of you guys' communication, right? Like the kids, they started to get like be at odds. They started to war amongst themselves. So basically, like the battle that you and the wife was actually going through, that was projected onto the kids because it was never resolved, right? And he didn't do that in his waking life. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. there were a lot of like happy times and happy moments. Um, Eventually, the wife, when the kids were younger, the wife would allow for your kids to be able to come to certain experiences with them, like family trips and stuff that they would go to, because obviously that's their siblings, right? That's her children's siblings at the end of the day. So because she wanted to be able to kind of, be respectful of that situation. Um, all good, beautiful. All good. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend, my love. But yeah, it seems as though you guys kind of really went through a lot. You guys had a good friendship. You guys had a fairly solid friendship, I guess, which is what allowed for him to sort of like keep coming back. And yeah, that was the thing that the wife, I guess, was lacking, which is where the universe pretty much brought you into his orbit, basically, because you had that quality that he was looking for then. And that quality was enough of a seed for you guys to be able to, like, I guess, develop and grow a family together. It was very abstract. It was a very abstract situation. I do feel like there were a lot of unresolved issues because he died, leaving the children were broken. Both of the women were in a broken state where they were still at odds, I guess, you and the missus in the situation. Um, and it just left a lot of confusion. Everyone didn't necessarily know, when he was where he was and when he was where, if that made sense. It's like she'd be wondering if he's with you at times, and you vice versa. When you can't get hold of him, it was the case of knowing that, he is with her type thing. Um, so it was just a whole messy situation from what I can see there, beautiful. It was a whole messy situation. There were points where his family accepted you and then they didn't because they were trying to be respectful to the wife, but also he would have conversations with them because it was just like, I just can't let her go. I don't know what it is. Um, yeah, it's a whole situation. Um, the mum his mum didn't necessarily want him to like be with both. His mom kept telling his mom kept telling, from what I can see, it's like the mom kept saying to him, like, son, you can't do this, you can't be sort of like stringing both of these women along, you kind of have to choose. The mom was kind of like leaning towards you with the situation just because she felt like actually you suit him a little bit better, whereas the wife was a little bit more I wouldn't high maintenance, yes. I was about to say I wouldn't say high maintenance. But it's just like she was less giving. It was more about what she could get and how he could serve her and how he could be subservient to her type thing, as opposed to her figuring out like how to be able to. That's why he actually cheated in the first place. That's why you were brought into his orbit in the first place, because he was kind of like lacking that need to be able to kind of like validate his manhood in the situation, basically. And then, yeah. And then being in the space, like the mum felt like the universe was just kind of letting him know that that chapter had ended, but he also didn't want to let it go for the kids as well. Because he wanted to be able to save face for the kids, because she wanted to save face for the kids, and she would project that and use that to manipulate him with the situation, because she wants to tell this story that, she's the one that he really loved, and she didn't really like, she was very headstrong. She was very headstrong, basically. I'm getting Taurus vibe or Taurus energy with the situation. But yeah, you guys went through a lot in the living life, but I think that it was a challenge for you to move past some of the resentment after he had passed. Like when you kind of like looked back at all of the things that you allowed for him to do, once you kind of like saw how the kids were at odds, how the destruction of everything kind of like transpired, there was a lot of resentment. there was resentment as you were kind of like navigating through certain things, but it was easier to forgive because his presence was so charming. It made it easy to be able to kind of like get past some of those reservations. But once he actually left physically, all of that resentment came to surface, and it was a lot to process and deal with at times. So yeah, there was a lot of confusion that you guys navigated through. A lot of confusion because he was like missing something or lacking something in that dynamic, and the universe gave him something else, another option. He took the bait, and the bait actually turned out to be a little bit better of a suitable match, right? The bait would have been you. And yeah, the other situation didn't necessarily kind of, it wasn't willing to kind of let go. She was willing to persevere, basically. She got more into competition mode as opposed to trying to get healthier with the situation, if that made sense. Do you see what I'm saying? So it became like more toxic in that regards. But yeah, those were some of the things that actually played out for you guys in the situation. Those were some of the challenges that you guys kind of went through. And I think because he passed without having some of these issues actually resolved, there was still a lot of chaos that was left behind. There was still a lot of chaos left behind. So yeah, that part. But yes, beautiful. I hope that that was useful for you. Ugh, dang. And can I just say, it was like a lot to navigate through as far as like going through it at the time. It was like very, very depressing at times. Yeah, constantly feeling like, you know, you kind of want to be out of the situation, but then at the same time, it's almost like you found yourself just being compelled. Nobody else kind of like, I guess, hit that heart space the way that he did, I guess. And that was some of the reasons why it was like a challenge to move on. After he passed, it was still a challenge to actually be able to move forward. But later, later on in life, there was someone to be able to kind of like, go off into like the sunset stage of life, with who was like a companion, and they loved you. They loved you in all the ways. And it was nice because it seemed like he brought him to you. He brought him to you when the time was right. He brought him to you. When you had gone through enough healing and you had let go of enough of your resentments, he brought him into your orbit to be able to give you what you rightfully deserved. So you eventually did get love, I guess, in that life, on that timeline. But it wasn't necessarily from him in the end, in the way that he wanted to be able to give it to you in fullness, basically, is how I'm seeing that situation playing out, or had played out, I should say. But yeah, interesting. I hope that that was useful for you, though, my love. Okay. Right. Who have we got next? Summer. Let's go and get Summer's question, because Summer did put the question up as well. Okay, awesome. There we go. Oh, thank you so much. There you go. Look at that. Let me put that one up. Okay, y'all. Right. Let's see for Summer. What are Brian's current thoughts? Let's start with the thoughts towards Evelyn. What are Brian's current thoughts towards Evelyn? Thank you, thank you. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Clarify that for me. Clarify. Show me. As clearly as you can, please. Oh. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. What are his feelings towards Evelyn? What up? Okay. Thank you. Okay. I don't want to get nobody in trouble right now. Okay, Summer? Okay. So the thoughts on the situation is that there's a little bit more than a friendship sort of thought with the situation. There are romantic feelings there, just to sort of like let you know the feelings as well are that they're like there's an attraction romantically that's there. And it's a case of the thoughts are trying to figure out whether or not to act on those feelings. At the minute, it's kind of like a holding back and trying to fight those feelings, if you will, because there's like a natural sort of attraction there. Okay, there we go. That's what's up. Right, there's a natural attraction there. But it's almost like they themselves have a little bit of a challenge with being able to express themselves in the best way, right? They themselves have a little bit of a challenge in being able to articulate. I think they are trying to contemplate whether or not they have the capacity basically for something. As much as there's an attraction, as much as there's romantic feelings, it's almost like they're kind of like weighing up whether or not they have the ability to manage something like yeah. They're seeing if they're struggling with whether or not they have the ability to be able to like the manage the situation, like in terms of really being able to give into the romance. You know what I mean? Like give into the romance. Oh yeah. Forgot about that, Ariana. That's a thing as well that's kind of like being navigated. But what I'm seeing with the situation is that he's actually sort of like navigating through his own sort of like family issues at the minute as well, which is why he's contemplating how to navigate through the situation, right? Because he's navigating through his family dynamics and situations, it's almost like I don't know if he's got the capacity, or he's questioning whether or not he's got the capacity to really be able to kind of like manage and juggle this situation. Okay. Well, what's the actual advice then? What's the advice with this situation? Okay. Okay. Cool. There we go. Right. Okay. So what they're saying with the situation as far as like the advice for you on the matter is because like obviously he can't take on too much at the minute. There's so much that's kind of like going on. in terms of like responsibilities that are being like projected onto him, responsibilities that he's like taken on himself as well, even though they're being projected onto him. And I guess he's still weighing up whether or not he does have the capacity to be able to like really lean into you romantically in the way that you deserve as well. I'll put it like that as well. The guides are saying, you know, the guidance on this situation is that it's not necessarily the right time for this to really sort of like, I guess, fall into place just yet. At the minute, it's kind of like a perfect timing design. So it's almost like, you know, the attraction is there, the chemistry is there. It's about nurturing those aspects of the situation for now. It's about kind of like giving life to that aspect of the situation and kind of like working towards future goals with the situation, right? Working towards future goals with the situation. Because I don't know that he's got the capacity right now to be able to, just fully take on all that is Evelyn. Okay. But he's kind of working through some family issues at the minute, from what I can see. Yeah, he's working through some family issues at the minute. Okay. But definitely wants a new beginning. Definitely wants a new beginning with the situation. Definitely wants like more than friend situation. It's just that there's other factors to what's going on with his dynamic at the minute. So he doesn't necessarily have the capacity. The bandwidth is just not there, unfortunately, at the minute. But give it some time. Okay, give it some time. This isn't like the forever situation. This is just a temporary aspect of the situation. So just continue to nurture what you guys have kind of like got right now. And as like some of these issues clear up, I guess, there will be more of a capacity. Right, guys? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So what they're showing me is that it's a case of waiting over the course of the next few months, and allowing for things to kind of like unfold with the situation. And I guess you'll be able to sort of see some things moving around within the next couple of weeks, you know. Yeah, you guys will be able to start to see some things kind of like shifting within the next couple of weeks. So just continue to do what you guys are sort of like doing at the minute. And the universe is kind of like working on a divine timing setup for this to kind of like unfold for you. Okay. Yeah. That's it. I think you guys as well are going to have some decisions to make in terms of where you guys are wanting to go in terms of direction in the next few months. So that's something to, I guess, keep in mind. Okay. But yeah, continue to nurture what you guys have got for now. And in a few months, you guys will basically have to revisit making actual decisions. Right now, decisions aren't necessarily like, not that it's not necessary. It's more so right now, the situation is that decisions aren't even an option, basically. Just because it's not like fair odds at the minute, right? It's not fair odds at the minute. So decisions can't really necessarily be an option right now. But right now, you guys are kind of just in limbo a little bit, getting to know really how you guys can actually fit into each other's lives, type thing, and how where you guys would actually be useful in each other's lives, right? Okay, I hope that was useful for you, my love. That part. But yes, let's see. And who have we got next on the list? Okay. All good, my love. All good. All good. And who we got next on the list? Shopaholic. You are next on the list. I love that, Ariana. I know you're here, girl. I know you're here. I don't know if Shopaholic is here though. This was the last list that we had, so I'm gonna keep it, and we'll see. Shopaholic, you here? Can we get your question? Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, Shopaholic. Come on, let's get your question. And self-concepts up for my manifest. Let me put it up on the screen. Sorry, my bad, y'all. Oh, do you know what? I am going to save the list as well. All right, I'm going to save the list. And I'll put that up. I know, Ariana. It's all good. It's all good. You know, sometimes you just sit there and you just silently observe, didn't you? I started a new habit of doing affirmations and self-concept for my manifestations. How are my manifestations going since I started my routine? Okay, let's dive into it. How are the manifestations going, guys? No, you're good. How are the seeds? How are the seeds going? How are Shopaholic seeds going at the minute? Let's see. As clearly as you can, please. Okay. You posted? What do you mean, Katie? Okay. Interesting. Really? Okay. Elaborate for me then, guys. Elaborate for me. Thank you. Interesting. Okay. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, so they said to me, from what I can see on the cards, that they're showing me that with the situation, there's definitely some tension that you're going to experience. You know, there's some pushback, I guess, in certain areas, like the way that I'm seeing it. It's like certain things that you're working towards manifesting, you also have to get a little bit more clearer on like the small details of it, because they're showing me that there's still some confusion in places, right? But it's definitely like a win for you. The universe is conspiring to get you this win. It's just a matter of when, okay? The win is definitely yours. It's just a matter of when. The way that they're showing me when I sort of like clarified everything, this is like a couple of major arcanas for you. This is justice being served for you. But first, you have to basically plead the case to the universe, basically, to find what you find as the most probable justice served to you in a place where you feel content, basically, right? They're saying that some of the stuff that are like you're not all the way clear about is because there's still a lack of clarity in terms of certain delays that you've experienced with certain things. So they've distorted they've distorted the vision because it's taken a while to be able to manifest some of these things. But also they're saying that the manifestation, the intention of the manifestation has also expanded. It has changed in terms of the vision actually growing. So where the vision has actually grown, and it's becoming something, I guess, in the ethereal realms, right? There are still new things basically that needs to be implemented into the vision of the plan, right? And some of those things are going to start to be able to come in with you being able to kind of like, do the affirmations as well, and position yourself to be in the right place at the right time. They definitely said that you have to work on sometimes being tardy for the party. Okay. Punctuality is everything. But it's not necessarily, and I want to put this across because they're also saying to me, punctuality isn't necessarily presuming that, oh, I'm supposed to be here at this time and that's it. They may take you through the scenic route where you don't get there exactly like at the time that you want to get there, or you might be like just a little bit off the timing. But the scenic route is going to basically give you an opportunity to find another little gem to put into the vision, because the vision has basically grown out there in the ethers, right? And it's like now you're getting information as you kind of like put that seed to God. God has received that seed, he's multiplied it, the seed has grown, it's grand now, right? And there's so many layers to it that the universe is kind of like putting you in certain pockets of time to be able to experience certain things so that you can get clarity on the now, God's vision for that little seed that you planted, right? So yeah, try not to overthink too much when you find yourself being in situations where it might be high anxiety driven in terms of like timing and factors to do with timing of the situation. Never give up is what they're sort of like saying. It is like there will be opportunities like for you to be able to like dig deeper, to be able to get certain insights on why certain things aren't necessarily manifesting as quickly as you would like in certain ways. But they're saying everything has to go in stages, bits and pieces in stages with the situation. But it's definitely a win. It's definitely a win. It's more a case of like how the win is going to unfold and when you're actually going to see, because what you want, like what you wanted was like, it was big to you, like in terms of dreams and everything, but like God's dreams for you and plans for you are like so much bigger, I guess, in terms of him knowing the whole scope of like how this whole play is playing out for you, right? And he's just kind of like positioning the right people at the right time in the right places for you, and making sure that you're being guided to get to those places as well. What I am seeing is that you will accomplish these things. You will accomplish them. You may get to points where you get overwhelmed and want to sort of like give up and quit for a little bit, but you do persevere. You might just take breaks, I guess, from what I can see, like in between, like just giving like consistent energy to it. Consistent energy. The energy sometimes becomes a little bit more introverted to be able to kind of like get you to an opportunity to preserve some of that energy as well and put that back into yourself so that you can go back hitting it real strong again. So it looks good. It looks good, beautiful. It's a whole process. It's a whole process. It does get accomplished. It's going to take its time in places. And there's things that you're going to learn, I guess, about the vision over time. Okay. I hope that was useful for you, my love. I hope that it was worth the wait as well, because you was like waiting around as well for a minute. What's the guidance then for Shopaholic? Enough. Okay. Thank you. Exactly what I just said. Remain positive and look for the signs. Yeah, remain positive and look for the signs. When the no's happen, because that's how they're putting it across, when the no's happen, as far as like basically when God's putting you on a detour towards his plan versus your plan, right? Because his plan's so much bigger and better. Chill out, Bixby. Anywho, right? Yeah, just look for remain positive, look for the signs when you sort of meet the resistances. Maybe try and get perspective on what that resistance is kind of like pushing you towards instead, right? Because then that's God's path for you versus the path that you thought that you needed to walk to get to the same destination, whereas God's path is going to get you to the destination, but it's going to be so much better. You know what I mean? That part, but yeah. Okay. That was cool. Nice and easy. Okay. Right. Mina's list. Let me get back to it. Right, who have we got next on the list? Ariona. Yes, you were actually going with your question. And then we are going to close out the space. We've only got 3 more: Renewed, Linda, and Ash. Right? Are you guys in the building? Renewed, Linda, and Ash, you guys still here? What's the sitch? What's the situation? Ariona, can you drop your question? Yeah, please. Thank you. Oh, wow. Interesting, Katie. Damn, Katie, you were late to the party. I literally even done like Summer's reading, Shopaholics reading, and you finally sort of like it came back. It may be a situation that you guys are finishing up that chat, because obviously where he died, sorry guys, sorry Ariana as well, I'm coming to your question. But where he died in that situation, it did leave a lot of unresolved issues. So you guys may need to play out the scene from where you guys last left it to see how it actually like resolves itself this time around. Yeah, that part. Oh. Okay, so we've got Ariona's question. Why isn't the universe just telling me what? Just letting me. Why isn't the universe just letting me date guys and find out if they are the one or not, rather than just rejected? I keep having to be forced to move on from these guys with no closure. Like I would rather date guys and find out that they aren't for me and have myself move on. I don't see how that would be worse than getting rejected. Interesting. Interesting. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's go ahead and dive into it in the cards and see what the guides have to say. I have a theory. We'll see what the guides have to say. Y'all heard all that. I can't even put that into like a whole summary of a question for you guys. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right, guys. Oh, okay. Come on. Show me. You heard the question. Ariana wants to know, why is the universe kind of like, we get it, rejections, God's protection, right? Obviously, God's kind of like protecting her from being soiled by these people's demons in ways, but she's still becoming collateral damage to their process of this protection, right? So she wants to understand why. Help us to be able to sort of like give some clarity, give it some context, guys. Why is it sort of playing out this way? Okay. Okay. Clarify. Clarify. What does that mean? In what context? Oh, we had a jumper. Show me. Thank you. Like me personally, I don't want to stay single until I meet the one. I want to have fun and date a few guys before meeting the one, rather than just being single and still being with. I hear you, beautiful. Honestly, I hear you 110%. The way that they're sort of like putting it to me, bear with me. Let me just sort of like break it down, because there's a lot of, this is like a major situation for you. It's a major arcana that you're navigating through. So I want to get an understanding of the context of what they're sort of saying with the situation. Okay. 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 Interesting, Katie. Interesting. 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 Yeah. 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 And you did in that life. In that life. It's interesting. In that life, there were 2 kids involved. So it seems to be playing out in your subconscious already. With the situation, Ariana, so basically, I've got to give it to you, beautiful. So what they're saying is, with the situation, they're just, they're determined to sort of like protect you on this, in terms of like your guides, the universe. It's more sort of like, if you actually go through the process of getting into certain heartbreaks, again, you'll be so soiled that you don't necessarily you don't bounce back in the way that you think that you would, basically, is what they're saying to me. It's almost like, obviously, as we go through heartbreaks and stuff, naturally it's a given. Obviously it redefines our concept of love, and it reshapes us, right? But they're showing me that in the process of this is actually the universe giving you justice, by not letting you be soiled in the situation. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't necessarily think that it would be worse than getting rejected. Let me ask you this situation, this aspect of the situation, because the pattern continues to show up and show up and show up. What's your relationship with dad? What's your relationship with your dad? And that's for Ariana. I'm just asking you that question so I can dive deeper into some stuff with you on the situation. Sorry, I'm reading the questions. They're still together now since he took off out of nowhere. Interesting. Shopaholic. Without warning. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, beautiful. Lol, it took me getting pregnant to find out how he is and the situation around him really is. How he and the situation around him really is. Found out so many lies and he cheated. Dang. My dad is non-existent in my life. This third party would text me anonymously. Damn, Katie. Listen, it seems like you guys are still playing out the patterns from your past in terms of the dynamics there. And he contacted me, but then he found out something about me and stopped talking to me. Okay. This is I'm talking about, because I'm like, yes, guys, I'm reading like all of your comments at the same time. My dad stopped texting me because it had to do with my preferences in men. Okay. I asked the question basically because the dynamics, I guess, that you're kind of like experiencing in terms of the universe, right? So question to you then, does mom have a constant partner? Is mom in a committed relationship? Just so that I can understand basically the patterns that have been embedded into your hard drive on a subconscious level. Because essentially what's happening is that pattern where dad wasn't necessarily there, that sort of like basically created these wounds of abandonment. Those abandonment wounds would naturally flare up, particularly in romantic relationships, especially with you know, if the romantic relationship is with the same sex as the absentee parent, basically, it will cause certain cycles and patterns to play out. But also what it shows is that there are certain fears that you actually have of committing to an actual relationship. So there may be the desire to be able to have fun, get attention, go out on dates, just play the game of dating without any actual intention of like actual commitment per se. My mom is in a committed. So again, like these are some of the factors as well. So this is going to be a difficult programming to break in the back of your subconscious mind. I'm just going to keep it troll with you, beautiful. That's just how it is. I'd like to keep it honest with you guys. You know how it is. But because this pattern, right? This pattern is a pattern whereby men, so there's a story that your inner child would be telling subconsciously that the men in your life doesn't necessarily stay, and it's kind of like vibrating from this frequency of thought and feeling. The feeling is really the feeling of abandonment, right? So it would naturally, and again, these things happen subconsciously. It happens subconsciously. It's messed up because when we actually like navigate through these types of situations, it creates these subconscious patterns that we navigate through, and they play out in our lives. And then we're like, well, why is this happening? Why is that happening? It's because subconsciously we're on a certain rhythm. Finding pain. What I would say to you with the situation, beautiful, I would definitely say to you that it's a case of like, have you made peace with the fact that because you said that dad also sort of like showed back up again, but then because of your preferences as men, it was like kind of like withdrawing again. Have you made peace with that situation at the minute? Have you kind of like sat down, had a conversation with yourself to say that it's his choice? Because basically you're going to have to make up for his absence. His absence in your life basically created a void. It created a space, basically. It created a black hole, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's a lacking place, right? Yeah. You definitely need to make peace with that. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because it's going to be an emotional process for you to kind of like tap into that feeling. And I know that it's going to be a big one because it's dad, right? It's the person that's supposed to like love you and show you how to love and all of these things, but unfortunately they don't have the tools to be able to give that to you. They're too self-centered, ignorant, they're too far into themselves. Basically, I can give you so many different labels to tell you like the different aspects of themselves that they are too much of to be able to give you what it is that you need, but unfortunately they're not in the place to be able to provide that to you. So what I would recommend to you is that you will have to give that to yourself in order so that you can be restored in those places that he has basically caused you to find pieces of lack within yourself, right? So that abandonment wound continues to flare up, and it will draw attention. It will attract guys into your space that naturally aren't necessarily sort of like looking for anything in that same regard as well, right? So a couple of things, write this down as well, beautiful. You got to make peace with that situation, the fact that he's chosen, that's his choice, and you have to accept it. You also want to make peace with the fact that you have your preference, and it's okay for you to have your preference, and it is not your problem that he doesn't like what your preference actually is. Okay. Another thing that you'll need to do with the situation as well, he basically created abandonment wounds for you. So you have to, how can I put it? You have to be able to, I won't forgive him for it, but I will move it. 100%. And I hear you on that. The forgiveness, I'll say this. When we struggle to forgive, the wound festers. What you can do is not necessarily forget that that moment existed with him, that he made that choice in spite of the fact that he was never really present in the first place. So how can you, it's easy to go back to old habits. He was never really present. So he doesn't necessarily even know what it is that he's missing out on. Do you see what I'm saying? He doesn't understand the value of you. So he's missing out. What happens with the situation now is that you need to build up your self-worth, okay? Because those types of dynamics with abandonment wounds, they deplete our self-worth. They deplete our self-esteem in terms of value. And again, you can come across like a confident person, and the child inside of you, because it's rooted in this place, it's still navigating through situations, and you'll be wondering, well, why isn't things necessarily isn't necessarily working out? Because I'm confident here and I'm doing this. Subconsciously, on the subtle levels of consciousness, energetically, you would be vibrating at this frequency where the universe is picking up on that abandonment. So it's going to, again, mirror that reality back to you and bring people in to continue to further abandon and neglect you, right? So yeah, you don't have to necessarily forget what he has done and what he's chosen to do, but you do have to forgive him, not for him, but for you. Because forgiveness, when you don't forgive, what happens is that it creates barriers and walls, and those walls aren't necessarily just for keeping people out. It's also from keeping you from being able to actually move on God's course for your life as well. Okay, so you delay the process of God's reality manifesting over your life as well. Another thing that I would also recommend that you do, actually make a decision in terms of what it is that you're looking for, because you say fun, but you actually want something that's a little bit committed, because you want to be in an exclusive situation. You don't want a casual situation with someone per se. You want it to be something that, you know, it's exclusive and you guys are actually like focused solely on each other per se. You know, you just want to be able to have the consistency of that. So I think you need to kind of like clarify a little bit as well in that regards. If you are looking for fun, then you have to be willing to sacrifice the commitment, my love, unfortunately, because that's just the way that it works. If you want it sooner rather than later, because the two are contrary. They cannot persist to be able to exist because they live on different frequencies, right? So if you want fun, you're going to have to be open to dating, which means that they may be open to dating other people, and it may be that you guys have each other on rotation. If you want something committed, you have to decide to put down your wandering eyes. I have to keep it true to you. I have to keep it true to you, beautiful. Okay, you have to decide to like put down your wandering eyes. It depends on what direction you want to go with the situation, but in order to clean this up, if you want to be able to actually like manifest something, there are so many aspects, because you're dealing with so many layers when we're manifesting. The physical reality has to go through so many different dimensions. It has to go through thoughts, feelings. We have to go through actions as well. And it's a whole bunch, okay? Where we are psychologically in terms of our neurological patterns and sequences will determine a lot of the way that things play out, especially where we are in terms of our emotional vibration, because emotions become conscious in our minds. That's what actually creates the thoughts and feeds the thoughts out into the reality that we create for ourselves, right? So you have to make sure that emotionally you're on a frequency, because what is happening at the minute is that if you're on a chase for it and it feels like it's something that you want, it's not going to be easy for you to attract it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's actually going to be something that you're constantly chasing, trying to catch, and it will continue to elude you. Okay, so work on these factors of the situation instead of focusing on them, like you finding the right person. Allow for the right person to be able to find you, so that you're not out here like going into the wrong places and putting yourself through the process of being rejected by not even actually sort of like being in something solidified and concrete. Do you see what I'm saying? But yeah, those are some of the things that I would do to work on cleaning up some of the emotional layers of yourself and cleaning up some of the psychological, I guess, scars that have manifested based on those emotional wounds. Okay. And that will manifest as it aligns with the physical realm. It will manifest to be able to have you attract the right person instead of you kind of going through the process of the law of repulsion instead of the law of attraction. The law of repulsion is when we manifest from a place of fear, like, oh, I don't have this, or I'm lacking that, and I want this. When we want something, we're manifesting from the place of the law of repulsion. It's coming from a place of fear of something or another. And if we manifest like, oh, this is going to suit what it is that I'm doing here, we're manifesting from a place of the law of attraction there. And both exist on the same levels of dimension. It just depends on the emotional layer that determines which one of them we actually go through. You know, a lot of the times we manifest things that we're not happy with, and people are like, oh, well, I didn't manifest this, or I didn't attract this. They're right. They didn't actually attract it. They repulsed it to them, type thing. Does that make sense? It manifested from a place of fear. So clean some of those things up. And next year, I'm going to be honest with you, for the first quarter of the year, you're still going to be navigating through like cleaning this up. But May time onwards, things start to feel a little bit more open in terms of you actually being able to like attract the right person who you'll be able to, I guess, have your fun with, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, fun or committed. Okay. But you have to like make it clear about what it is that you're actually sort of like manifesting into the space. Okay, beautiful. I hope that that was useful for you though, my love, because I know that I was talking like 100 miles an hour, but there's a lot in there when it comes to those types of situations. And trust me, I'm telling you, I'm still navigating through, because my dad was also an absentee parent. Like, he was present, but my dad, like, he was in and out of prison. I grew up in a very volatile environment, so I still have to like navigate through my own abandonment wounds. When it comes to like my paternity situation. Love my dad to bits, but it is what it is, right? I have conversations with him all the time where I say to him, he's more present as a parent now than he ever was when he was like here in physical life. And sometimes I have to like tell him to stay out my business. Right, on that note, guys, let's go back to the list and see who is next on the list, y'all. Okay, we've just done Ariana. So we've got renewed. What is your question, my love? You are next on the list. Let's see what you got for me. Let's see. Okay, renewed, are you in the building? Sorry, I'm like going through the process of shuffling the decks all over again as well. The guides are asking me to. Renewed, are you here, my love? If you're not, can we get like a raised hands or a hey, whoever's sort of still in the chat? Renewed, Linda, and Ash. You guys are the last three. Ash, are you here? Linda, are you here? Renewed, are you here? If you are, can you start typing your question, please? Renewed, you're next on the list. If Renewed isn't here, can we get Linda's question, please? If Linda's here. Hi, Karen. Hope you're good, my love. Come on, guys. Can we get a yes, an amen, a hallelujah, something? Something, guys, please, something. Who's here? Oh. Okay, Ash. Okay, Ash is in the building. Linda, are you here? I don't know if Linda's here. Renewed, we're going to do like a final call. I'm going to give you guys like a good minute or so to just put it out there if you guys are here. I know you're here, Ash. I see your question. Thank you for that. I'm actually going to go to your question if Linda and Renewed aren't here. So yeah, that's all good. I'm going to give you guys a minute to get an I'm here in the chat. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so bear with me. We're actually trying to figure out the list, Karen, and the list actually closed with Ash. So I may actually sort of finish up, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. We're gonna go with Ash's question because I don't seem to have anything from Renewed. Linda doesn't seem to be in the building. So we're gonna just go ahead and dive into Ash's questions. Okay. Karen, I might come to your question. Like I said, if they're not here, then you just got bumped up the list, basically. Look at God being nice to you. Won't you do it? Okay, so Ash wants to know Anil's secrets. What's Anil hiding at the minute? He's not being forthcoming, so what they're hiding. What are they hiding? Make it clear. As clearly as you can, guys. Okay. Show me. Okay, what does that mean? Put it into context. Okay. Please clarify. Okay. Okay, well, give me some more. Give me some more insight. Give me some more insight. Like, when you say, how so? How so? Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to like receive it and I'll feed it back to you guys. Okay. Okay. It's not necessarily as as bad, I guess, as you're thinking, as far as what they're giving me, anyways, at least. They're showing me that, like, in the situation at the minute, some of the things that he's not speaking about are some of the changes, I guess, that they're kind of navigating through. That's causing a little bit of frustration on their end as well. And when I say feelings, it's like there's like a little bit of an imbalance in terms of their work and personal life commitment, which is causing a little bit of moodiness. That's probably some of the things that you've been picking up on. I feel like there's a lot of pressure around the career situation at the minute that's kind of like offloading into you guys' space as well. And he's kind of like trying to figure out how to be stealthy around that situation. But what's the tea, guys? I guess Ash wants to know like some stuff that he's not necessarily sharing at the minute. Okay. Okay. So why though? Why be that way then? Sorry, they're showing me that obviously like he's being defensive and stuff and a little bit hesitant. And just being emotionally volatile and all over the place with situations. Oh wow, interesting. We've got the death card like in reverse on one deck, and we've got the death card upright at the bottom of both of the decks at the minute, actually, which is interesting. Okay. Okay. So what I'm seeing with the situation is that I guess they're kind of like trying to. What's their work situation like? What's their work environment? True, because every time I ask to see him, he is always busy with work. Thought he was avoiding. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's why I said to you, it's not as crazy as you would actually want to think. So that's a lesson for you in terms of where you allow your mind to wander. Okay. I do think that there's a bit of a work-based situation going on now. Let me unpack this. When I say work-based, it's like somebody who is interested in Anil, that I guess they like the attention, they like the flirting, but they don't necessarily have any desire to sort of take it any further. It's not anything like that per se. But there's somebody who I guess has an attraction to him and he likes the attention in terms of like the workspace or situation environment. But honestly, they really are just busy. There's nothing else that I can tell you in the situation. It's not a secret. With the circumstances, the secret is that like it's actually making them come out of character. Like, yeah, it's actually making him come out of character because it's so stressful. Like he's like heavily weighed down by all of the pressures of all of these things that he's got to juggle. So it's a challenge to be able to actually do all of those things and also have the capacity to be able to like actually date you. Like when he says he's busy, he's actually busy. And there's a lot of quick changes that are constantly just happening in terms of like his environment at the minute. So like he's just a little bit moody as well. I don't think that he feels like he can give you the best of himself right now as well in terms of where he's at, just because he's low on energy. He's like exerting so much energy in all of these other places. Oh, that's like me, government job and own his own business. Trust me, girl, that it's hard. Okay. I do both of those and it's hard. It's hard. But yeah, like from what I can see on the cards with the situation, like he's going through a transition when it comes to what's going on at the minute. Like he is going through a transition, but not right now. Yeah, he's moody because he's stressed. He's moody because he's stressed. He's stressed. Like there's so many things that are going on. There's so many things that he's juggling. There's so many things that aren't necessarily going well with the juggle. And he's like trying his best to be able to prepare himself so that things can actually like clear on the other side of like 2023, like some of these resistances and blockages that he's meeting, he's hoping that they can actually clear on the other side of the 2023 timeline. And I guess he's putting in all of the effort into that at the minute. So he doesn't necessarily have the capacity to be able to like deliver on making dates and actually being able to keep those dates. You'll just experience a lot of broken promises. So I think that he's trying to spare your feelings. Yeah, I think that he's trying to spare your feelings. With the situation as far as like single, I'm gonna go to the cards and unpack that a little bit more to get like full clarity. But I did mention to you that there's somebody, the work-based situation, where there's somebody that has an attraction, there's a flirt type dynamic that they sort of like navigate through in general. Yeah, there's a flirting type situation that they navigate through in general. So it's something that they kind of have to. I don't think he wants to act on anything to do with that. I don't think he has the capacity. I just don't think he has the capacity in general for a relationship. Like honestly, hold on. I'm gonna check in terms of what did you ask? What was the question? Oh, is he single? Okay. Let me. You mean single or single taken single? Because there's so many layers of single these days. Like since this whole polygamy thing has started to develop on another level as well. It's like there's single, and then there's single dating, but committed. Like there's so many layers to this stuff. But okay, so is he already romantically connected to someone? Like in a committed situation? We know about like work bay, but is he currently like okay, thank you. Okay. Clarify this for me. What does that mean then? Okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have the time. He's single. Like single and flirting single. Let me put it like that. He's single and flirting single. He doesn't necessarily have the capacity right now. Last time I checked, he was involved in a committed situation to someone else. Not necessarily right now. Right now, the situation is that they're kind of like navigating through their own stuff at the minute as well. And it's not that they are like, it's not that they are apart per se. It's just that everything has been put on pause. Everything has been put on pause in terms of romantic situations, right? Things with that situation is going through a process of developing over the course of the next few weeks. I guess they're kind of like navigating through, I guess, finding they're happy again. So in the next 3 to 4 weeks as well, they're actually going to be getting back into a better place because even their relationship, I guess, has become a little bit lacklustered, for lack of a better way of putting it. It just feels like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just very blah at the minute. Like just because there isn't much time, he doesn't necessarily have much time available. But no, I that situation is on pause as well because I feel like the person that he's in relationship with, they're also asking for a lot more than he can give right now as well. And it's like, okay, we're just going to have to kind of we're going to have to just put this on pause for a second and until I have the free time, until I have the capacity to really be able to kind of like give you what it is that you need type thing. Do you see what I'm saying? And then there's the work bay. That's a flirting little situation there as well. I think like what I will say is that he's being passive because he doesn't necessarily want to cause any conflict as well. I think his whole situation is already so messy. He's just trying to like avoid any further conflict with situations as well. Yeah. When he says he's busy, he is really busy though, because shit's like hella hectic over in his space. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that that was useful for you, though, my love. Yeah, I hope that that was useful for you, because at the minute it seems like there's a lack of progress with the situation, because he's not too sure where anything is going right now, and he can't be sure until the next few weeks once certain things have actually like passed, basically. Okay, but I hope that that was useful for you, beautiful. So. Right, Karen. I will do, yes, Karen. I'll do, it's all good. It's all good, Ash. I'm glad that it was useful for you. That's what's up. Drop your question in the chat again, Karen, and I will go ahead and break it down. I'll go ahead and break it down for you. Not necessarily. There's just a lot going on in his world at the minute. And it's like you're picking up on someone else being there because they're also navigating through the same thing that you're navigating through as well, where they don't necessarily have access to his time. I think they probably get more time than you do, to be honest. Like, obviously, the committed situation, that is getting a little bit more time in terms of like they're actually like trying to be able to kind of like work through things. It's on pause as far as like being able to like, you know, fully be in it and acknowledge it for what it is. It's more kind of like passive, even in that space at the minute, where it's like, oh, I've got some time, do you want to do something? Or you know, I'm open today, that kind of stuff. Even that space is kind of like suffering at the minute, I guess, in terms of his lack of timing. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I guess that's his mom's problem though, isn't it? Really, that's her problem more so than anything else. But yeah, I was fall in love with the same sex. Does she love me too? Because I know from the start she is already committed to someone else. Oh, that's tricky. So let's dive into this. Can we get an initial, Karen? Can we get an initial or something? Just so it's easier to connect to the space. Karen's love interest, guys. Karen wants to know, how do they actually feel about them? Karen wants to know, how does her love interest feel about her? As clearly as you can. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, her name initial, but it's fine. We've got some cards. It's okay. It would be, I guess, effortless to be able to sort of like connect into the space. Okay. Interesting. Mm. Clarify. What does that mean? Put it into context for me. Oh, wow. That's a whole bunch. Damn, guys. Okay. That's cool. Sorry, I'm going to unpack the cards and pull it out the bag. Okay. Sorry, I'm still like sorting out the cards because there was a whole story, my love. So I have to get it all together for you so I can put it into perspective. that was so, that was so much. That was so much. Oh, dude. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to unpack it a little bit because they're showing me, once I started to clarify it, there was a lot going on with the situation. So let me just see. Long story short, this was just a selfish moment. This was a selfish blip, I guess, in their timeline from what I can see on the situation. It's a unrequited love type dynamic. So there's an attraction, there's chemistry. It's just they're not necessarily looking to commit to you. It's not necessarily a case of them leaving their current situation to get into this situation. And in fact, they've actually found it very overwhelming entertaining you and being in their current situation. And it's almost like they're sort of giving up on taking on having their energy scattered in all of these different places, right? Where they're kind of like giving to you and trying to give to their committed situation. No, I don't believe that they feel the same way. I think that you fell into a situation, definitely. I don't know that I would call it love per se, in all honesty, Karen. I think and I'm going to be honest with you in terms of the way that they're giving it to me, because I have to be honest with you. I think that there may be a certain attraction to people who are emotionally unavailable. And that may be the lesson here that you are playing out with this particular situation. Um, I don't I don't think that they have any intention to be able to commit to you in a romantic way long term. This was nice. It was fun. It was playful. It was flirty. It was exciting. You know, it kind of like brought the spark back and stuff. And there's care there. I think that they care for you. I just don't think that they have love and are like in love with you per se. I think that you guys had different intentions coming into this space, and they initially already knowing that they had something that they were obligated to and that they were supposed to be committed to, they didn't necessarily have the capacity. So they never came into this with the intention to be able to actually give you a piece of themselves. It was more a case of being able to see what they could potentially, what parts of themselves you would be able to kind of like, soothe or bring out, and what they could really sort of like get from the situation as well. I do think that they care about your feelings, like I said, but I don't think that they see you as like an actual romantic interest. I think that their committed situations actually their focus, and this was more of a fun, playful type situation, basically, to be honest with you. What's the advice for Karen on the situation then, guys? What do you guys advise Karen to do with the situation? Thank you. Yeah. They said to just reconsider the situation. Reconsider the situation. Reconsider saying yes to this dynamic. Reconsider if you want to actually like get yourself amped up in the situation, if you want it to be something open and playful and continuing to be something open and playful, and you've got the capacity for that, then yes, go ahead. Don't do that if you know that you're already catching feelings, because it's not going to end well for you in this investment. You will basically receive the short straw. You will get the shortcoming of this investment, because they're invested in the other space a lot more than they are in this space, emotionally speaking. Okay. With yourself, it's light, it's fun, it's flirty. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what's so exhilarating about being in the situation, because they're not necessarily getting that in their current space with their committed situation at the minute, because, you know, it's kind of like it's heavy now. But yeah, if you know that you're already catching feelings, it's only going to get worse. Those feelings are only going to go deeper and deeper. So I wouldn't necessarily like continue if you're looking for something serious. If you just are open to the playful situation and that's enough for you and that's what you're looking for, then great. If that's not what you're looking for, don't sell yourself short, because it will hurt you very deeply, because you will attach to her very, very quickly, very, very deeply. And it won't end well for you if you do. And that's me just keeping it true with you, because I see that the dynamics that you're playing out in this type of situation can be detrimental to your growth potentially, or it could be the complete opposite. Okay. And when I say, or it could be the complete opposite, I mean, it could be detrimental to your growth in the sense that what you're supposed to learn from this situation, because from what they're showing me, you have an attraction, like I said, to people who tend to be emotionally unavailable. And that's something that is basically flaring up in this season, which is why there's an attraction to this person, which is why, because they are basically being manifested into your world from a wound, basically an unhealthy place. It's only going to come with unhealthy consequences for you to navigate. And if you don't have the capacity to deal with those things and actually heal from those things, then it's not the relationship for you to engage in at all. If you have the capacity to work through it and you're willing to like dive into the layer of the depth that it's going to take for you to overcome some of the challenges that comes along with being in this relationship dynamic, then go for it. Do you, by all means. Okay. But that's pretty much it, beautiful. That's pretty much everything from me. I hope that that was useful for you, though. I guess you'll probably just decide what it is that you're looking for, right? And take it from there. Okay. On that note, y'all, I am going to love you guys and leave it there, because I have been here for 3 hours, even though I was hoping to come in for a quickie tonight. Look at that. Dang. It's all good. It's all good. It's like 1 a.m. now. So I am off to bed because I need to go and grab my Christmas shopping tomorrow. Go and pick up all my stuff in stores. So I hope that you guys have a dope weekend, and may God continue to be magnificent in and over your lives, guys. Okay. On that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I'll see you guys next week. I think next week we're going to be live on Friday as well. So looking forward to that. Look out for the memo on either Wednesday or Thursday next week. Sending much love, guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. God bless you guys.
All the things they said to hold her back, they never seem to leave her head and tend to keep her mind at war. All the things they said to hold her back, they keep her locked inside of all the times when she's been hurt before.
Right, guys. On that note, I will catch you guys on the flip side next week. See you guys then. Ta-ra, guys.